everyone! Old school Pokemon here. Welcome on back to the PokeFlipz podcast, joined by my usual co-host, Catch 'em All Collectibles, Dan. How are we doing today, Dan?
Doing very well. How are you?
I am doing well. Excited for another episode here. There we go. Turned off the sound.
I'm trying to catch mine too. Okay, mine was muted when it came up. But yeah, we both just recently returned from the post office. Appreciate everyone waiting on us. We pushed it 10 minutes. I had just gotten back from USPS and UPS. Nick had to run himself. I see we got Rusty in here. Rusty made it live today. Nice to see you. Nice to see Lashki, Fat Belly Collects. I see some questions starting to form a backlog there. Let's have a little chat about our respective Thanksgivings. We both did some special promotions, special things for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, kind of a couple of the bigger internet retailer days. So we'll do a quick little thing, a quick little spiel on all that, and hope everyone had a very happy Thanksgiving. Feel free to leave questions in the chat, and we'll get to them in a bit. So yeah, Nick, how was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was awesome. I had a really good time. I actually took Wednesday night off from the eBay lives, and obviously I took Thanksgiving off from the lives. So that was the first time since Charlotte that I've had 2 days off from the eBay lives.
Wow.
And it was really nice. I thoroughly enjoyed having the time off. Thanksgiving was awesome. We usually get together, me, my mom, my sister, my aunt, my uncle, 2 cousins. We got a new baby in the family. One of my cousins had a baby, so he joined us for his first Thanksgiving. And then my grandparents. So we all get together over my aunt's house and have Thanksgiving dinner over there. And it was really nice to see everyone and be able to get together with them. I used to be really close to my 2 cousins that I got together with over Thanksgiving. And now that we all work full time, we live a little bit far apart. We don't get to see each other as much. So it's really cool getting to see them and being able to hang out with them and catch up with them and just spend time with the family. Take some time off. I did not go on. I went on eBay for like 5 minutes on Thanksgiving, but that was about it. Aside from that, I did not do anything Pokemon related or eBay related, which was very nice. Really good break. So yeah, it was very good. And obviously the food was awesome. For me, green bean casserole is the best Thanksgiving food. I absolutely love green bean casserole, and this year did not disappoint.
Ooh.
How about yourself?
I see Leaf Green Goblin in chat saying no mac and cheese side this year. I raged. So on Thanksgiving, I went to 3 Thanksgivings, and then on Black Friday, I actually went to a 4th Thanksgiving. Just different aunts, parents, in-laws, all that stuff, grandparents. I think only one of the 4, and that's my sister. Shout out to my sister. She made 2 forms of mac and cheese, one with more of like a sharp cheddar than one with more mozzarella and whatever else it would be. Both fantastic. To me, I mean, growing up, mac and cheese was always a thing. Maybe it was at one of the other ones, but I honestly don't remember. I ate very sparingly, especially on Thanksgiving, at each place that I went, because I knew I had to eat 3 times. I mean, had to. That might be pushing it a little bit. But my contribution to Thanksgiving this year was actually brisket. I made brisket and pork belly burnt ends. Very non-traditional Thanksgiving cuisine, I guess. But having just gone to Houston for Collecticon, I had the best brisket I've ever had in Houston. So it motivated me to do some self-improvement on my own brisket recipe, on my own brisket dish. So yeah, it came out really good. It was the best brisket I ever made, but it was definitely not as good as the stuff I had in Houston. I brought it to 3 of the 4 places. I didn't bring it Friday. I wanted it to be same day fresh. I started it Wednesday at noon, and I finished it like 22 hours later. And then it was nice. I brought it around in a cooler, portioned it up into 3 different things. A cooler to keep it hot, interestingly enough. They work well for that. So it had a nice long rest on its destination to those 3 different dinners. Not much left over. Thanksgiving usually leads to a lot of leftovers. You eat turkey all week, you eat stuffing, mashed potatoes, all this stuff, and then you eat turkey soup for a few days after that. Usually, I just finally made my turkey soup last night. Froze anything that didn't get used up, and that pretty much everything's gone. But yeah, Thanksgiving was great. Food was great. People, football, some beverages. Great time as always. I didn't work Thanksgiving, obviously. I did answer a couple messages here and there when I was having some beverages, so the wife was driving. So when I was in a little commute, I hopped in Discord a couple times and hopped on eBay a couple times. But Wednesday, I pretty much just did shipments and consignment payouts, and then Friday, I think I just did shipments. So I did pretty bare bones Wednesday and Friday. Had a nice like extended weekend. A little bit of a choppier weekend than it used to be. In my former profession, it would have mainly been like completely turned off, process shut down. But when you're running your own business and you've got all the emails and the Instagram, you never fully shut down, or rarely, I guess I should say, fully shut down.
Yep.
But yeah, it was great.
Now the real question, Jester brings it up. So you didn't make a turkey, but I'm assuming you had turkey at one of your parties.
Correct.
Now, is it better to have turkey on Thanksgiving, or is it better to have turkey sandwiches the day after?
See, so I'm a turkey leg guy. I can't do a turkey leg at every place that I go, but I did a turkey leg Thursday at my parents', and I did a turkey leg Friday. I'm a big fan of like a roasted turkey leg. I'd have fried turkeys, smoked turkeys, baked turkey, like roasted turkeys, whatever. They can all be very, very good. They can all be done really well. Smoked is my favorite. We've definitely smoked at Thanksgiving from time to time for Thanksgiving. I think we might actually be hosting next year, so I'll probably smoke a brisket and a turkey next year. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the leg. I want to do one of the legs, which you can't always get them because if you're going to a place with 30 people and only 2 legs, right? So you might have to fight for them. Maybe there's 2 turkeys, maybe there's 4 to go around. But yeah, I did get so I'm a fan of the leg on the day. Only the leg. That's all I want. Just the leg. And then turkey sandwiches, turkey soup later on. Turkey cannot stand alone. That's part of the reason though that I did pork belly burnt ends. Because any time I have turkey, it's usually like a turkey club or a turkey and bacon wrap or something of that nature. Bacon really helps out turkey a lot. Bacon can be a lot to just eat like a bacon sandwich or just eat like a big pile of pork belly by itself. But you throw some pork belly on a turkey sandwich, now we're talking. Now we're really stepping that up to the next level. So turkey needs some help, whereas beef and pork and chicken don't so much, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I'm a big fan of the after Thanksgiving turkey sandwiches. That's the best part about Thanksgiving is the day after.
Do you guys do hams and stuff too, or is it just turkey?
No, we just do turkey. And the one thing that a lot of people, because we were talking about this in the eBay lives, the one thing a lot of people do that we've never done is mac and cheese on Thanksgiving. It's always turkey, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, turnip, roasted Brussels sprouts, and stuffing and cranberry sauce.
See,
we've never done the mac and cheese, but that does sound very good.
My grandma, my parents, my sister, that's a staple on our end. Like if I do host next year, my sister, my mom, somebody will be bringing mac and cheese, surely. But the 3 other ones that I went to, my in-laws, her grandparents, and then her aunt, I could have missed it for sure, but deviled eggs, I out of everything, I probably ate the most. I
love deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs, mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey leg, those are my like staple ones, and then I'll probably make it an annual tradition moving ahead to do a brisket and pork belly burnt ends. So
that does sound good. I would definitely partake in some burnt ends and brisket. So feel free to invite me for next year. I'll be over.
I'm getting hungry now. I just had lunch and I'm getting hungry. All this food chat. But let me see if there's anything else to catch. We got Mr. Kite.
And then how was your
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. How were sales for you over the weekend with your big Black Friday sale?
Yeah,
which actually is still going on, right?
Yeah, it ends. eBay was weird the way that I set it up. I always get messed up if eBay's going off Pacific time or Eastern time. So, feels like some places they go off Pacific time because that's where they're headquartered, and sometimes they go off local time. I get confused on that sometimes. So it ends maybe at midnight tonight, maybe at 3 a.m. I'm not entirely sure. Ending soon though. I did 10 or 25% off, and I allowed consigners to opt in. If consigners opted in, I waived my commission. So sales were really, really good. Some pretty high-end stuff sold, which I'm not getting the 5% off it anymore, or I mean, I take slightly less than that if it's a very, very high-end thing, but still nice. Still nice to get the higher turnover, nice to reduce eBay tracks. One thing that they care about is like, they have two tiers. I forget if they call it stale inventory and like dormant inventory or something. I think stale is if it hasn't sold in like 6 months, and then maybe it's not dormant. Do you remember what the other word was? Stale and
I forget. It's along those lines. I can't remember though.
in some of my items that moved. I mean, I had some consigners saying, "Hey, 25% all of it," and then they'd net 80% of list price, or yeah, 75% of list price, no fee. And it moved some stuff. It definitely moved some stuff that sat quite a while. Padding the numbers, lowering those stale and dormant listings, it's a win-win all around. And then so yeah, my own stuff too. I'm doing 36 booster pack lots like I used to years ago. Rip Troll and Toad Evo. But yeah, I'm selling tons of ultra modern sealed type stuff. I'm selling tons of slabs, tons of all different kinds of stuff.
Awesome. Good, good, good. Mine,
Um,
I did what did I even don't even know what I did. I did 15% off most of my stuff. And that went well. Sales were good over the weekend. I actually only had it running. I started it Friday morning, so I didn't have to worry about going to the post office Friday morning. So I started it Friday morning, had it run until Sunday afternoon, and I actually ended it Sunday afternoon because Monday I did my Cyber Monday eBay Live, and so sales were pretty good over the weekend. I had a decent amount of packages to get out on Monday, but then the Cyber Monday thing that went really really well. I had a fantastic time doing that. That was just so much fun. I was a little worried about the viewership during the daytime because that was my first daytime stream, and so I wasn't sure what to expect. But luckily, eBay was sending extra notifications out to people, so I was there. There was a ton of people. Usually there was right around 100. Sometimes it got up to like 150, but there was a ton of people in every one of my streams, which was awesome. And the pricing that I was getting was really really good. I was happy with that. But yeah, it definitely made for a busy week. A lot of the stuff got paid on Monday night, Tuesday morning. I had about 250 orders to mail out on Tuesday, and then stuff slowly been getting paid the rest of the week. So it's been a busy week. But I ended up running. I was live for just under 12 hours, including the breaks that I took, and I ran. It was like I think it was almost 400 items. It was just under 400 items in that 12 hours. So
wow.
really really fun time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely want to get that going again for next year.
Did you get those all out Tuesday? Or did you like print the labels and a couple things slip to Wednesday?
No, actually, luckily my sister was off on Tuesday, so I had her come over and help me package. So I was able to get we had about 250 orders to ship out on Tuesday, and we got all of those mailed out. So that was nice. And then the rest of the stuff has been slowly getting paid throughout the rest of the week.
Shout out to the heroes behind the scenes. The sister saving the day. You love to see it. Like my sister at Thanksgiving, bringing the mac and cheese,
Exactly.
right? You gotta have the mac and cheese. So my sister saved the day there. Your sister was saving Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday shipment turnaround times. um, anything else to cover on sales for the weekend or Thanksgiving? I'm gonna try to be better about grabbing all the comments that are relevant to what we're talking about, and then going back and grabbing questions. And because I've talked about this many times, but we go through this cycle where every 30 minutes the same topics come up. because as we're talking about them, it's 30 minutes away till we get to the commentary, and yeah, I'm gonna try to be better about that.
Yeah, no, I think we're caught up on all the Thanksgiving talk.
Okay, so yeah, Mr. Kite said mac and cheese is better than turnips, 100%. Um,
I would agree. I would agree.
Garen says I've been eating ham over a week. I'm over it. I'm definitely over turkey, but once you turn it into soup, it's like a different thing. I'm a much bigger fan of turkey soup than just like white meat turkey. Even turkey sandwiches. I like turkey soup better than turkey sandwiches. Um,
What is blasphemy over there?
Brad says Dan probably pushes the little kids out of the way so he can get his turkey leg. uh, I went to Thanksgivings of very
I can
different
see it.
sizes. I guess the smallest one was like 6 people, and the biggest one was like 25, 30 people. I wasn't going for the turkey legs at the big ones. I went for the turkey leg. I kind of have one reserved for me on the turkey my mom makes, if she makes one. She knows, you used to, Thanksgiving is probably the one, and obviously the pandemic did some of this, but Thanksgiving is the one that's probably been the most dynamic over the years. You go through uh, that interesting thing as you're growing up, where at least for me, Thanksgiving and Christmas were always at my grandparents on my dad's side, and then as the cousins get older, they form their own families, and then some opt to do Thanksgiving with like their spouse's family. Some continue to do it with this one. So it's like certain ones went away, did their own thing. Thanksgiving was the one that got a lot more split up. And we still do Christmas at my grandparents, the same grandparents that we used to do all the Thanksgivings. But now it's more, it's a little bit more like probably the same amount of people, because I have my kids that go there, other cousins have their kids that go there, but some cousins don't show up to that anymore because they just go. I mean, you got to go one place or the other, right? Like sometimes you can travel to both. I went to 3 Thanksgivings on Thanksgiving because we were all 20 minutes apart, but some people are states apart or many hours of drives apart. So yeah, interesting dynamic as you progress through the years, right, on holidays.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I would say we're I would say it's about the same for us. We always do something on Christmas Eve, and it's always the same people for that. But yeah, Thanksgiving has gotten smaller over the years, and then Christmas Day we never do anything with family. It's always just me, my mom, and my sister on Christmas Day.
Uh, yeah, that for us it has changed over the years, and I'm sure it will continue to change. But always good. I love the holidays just to see a lot of family. There's certain ones that I only see on either Thanksgiving or Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, whatever it may be. So always good times. Rusty said he's doing
Yeah, this
ribeyes
is
and ribeyes and fillets next year. I can get behind that over a turkey. Rusty sent me a very nice picture. It must have been on Thanksgiving. I forget when it was exactly, but yeah, maybe it was Thanksgiving. He sent me a picture of some real nice steaks that he did up. They look real good.
there we go. I like it. I like it.
Here we go. E-Unit's going next level. He's making turkey nuggets with his leftovers. Chop up turkey breast, soak in ranch and buttermilk for 2 days, then bread and deep fry. Man, I can get behind that. Maybe
Ooh, that sounds really good.
sneak a little bacon in there too. See what happens.
Bacon makes everything better.
Garen says ham pickle roll ups Midwestern sushi. That sounds good. I don't think I've ever had that, but that sounds good. A
I
blank
don't know if I can get
cards
behind that one. Hate
goes
to say
all
it,
in on the
Aaron.
green bean casserole. Fry the onions. Make the cream of mushroom from scratch. Wow, cream of mushroom from scratch. That is next level for the green bean casserole.
That is. Now, the only thing I disagree, I do the same thing with the homemade green bean casserole, and it does taste better. Making the whole homemade cream of mushroom soup and all that. But the only thing I disagree with you is the fried onions. The French's fried onions, the ones that you buy in the little can,
Uh
plastic
huh.
can thing. You can't beat those. Homemade ones just don't compete.
I get those and I put them on my salad sometime. Those are really good.
Those are so good.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I have all the food stuff out of the way. I think I have pretty much all of it out of the way. So with that, I think we can get into the Pokemon. We do have a good backlog of questions. So you ready? You ready for the Pokemon questions?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Enough of this. Enough of this making me hungry talk.
Yeah. So Fat Belly collects. We may need to lean on you, Rusty. Rusty, if you're still listening, let us know in chat. Are Black Triangle booster packs more rare than first edition and shadowless? I am not an expert by any means, but I think just by merit of how they were brought about, I think they would be. As far as how many survive unopened, how many were created to begin with, I don't know which angle you're going from. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, there were some amount of excess first edition. Actually, I'm probably going to butcher this, and maybe Rusty will save me. Maybe you'll save me. But yeah, some amount of packs. For anyone who doesn't know, I have base set here in front of me. So it says...
I can do a show and tell.
Yeah, Nick's going to be very delayed on looking at my screen, but hopefully he'll get better stuff for us. So the trading card game box is at the top, and I don't actually have a first edition pack in front of me here, so Nick will have to show that off. But yeah, they went to the unlimited style format, but they accidentally still stamped it first edition. So the Black Triangle was just made to cover up that oopsie. Back in the day, WotC, they used to just make things work a lot, and because you could have just scrapped it all, right? Once they found out the mistake, they could have just scrapped all those packs. But from what I hear, from what's been shared, probably from Rusty's own interviews and stuff, they just reprinted a Black Triangle over it so that they could still use the foil wrappers. And given that it was like an error release, it was only ran for some amount of time and then caught. Maybe Rusty knows how many days, how many hours. I don't have that information. Maybe he heard from a WotC employee. But yeah, even more niche than that, though, and Rusty knows, I know Nick knows, maybe he'll even show us one of the packs. There are some base set unlimited containing packs that didn't get the Black Triangle stamp. So yeah, that one has trading card game box up at the top, but it still has the first edition. So I would think those are the rarest, then Black Triangle, then base first, then shadowless, then unlimited. That would be my opinion, my guess, but I think it's a pretty educated guess. What do you think, Nick, after my long ramble there? Thanks for the show and tell, too.
Oh, of course, of course. Anything to bust out the pack collection. I agree with you. I agree with you. I never thought about that really too much. I would say I would say either on par or maybe a little bit rarer are the Black Triangle packs compared to first edition and shadowless base. Because you do see a fair amount of them listed on eBay at pretty much at all times. But then you also see a fair bit of first edition packs and shadowless packs listed on eBay also pretty much consistently. So I would say it's about on par, maybe a little bit more rare than your first edition and shadowless packs. And then the non-corrected error without the Black Triangle over it, those ones are definitely very, very hard to find. You really don't see many of those pop up. I know I actually bought my Blastoise and Charizard art off of Rusty back in, this was like 2017, 2018 maybe. And then it took me until 2020 to find the Charizard art. So it took me multiple years to find the Charizard art. And so those ones are very, very tough to find. Those ones are definitely rarer than any of the other ones. But I think the Black Triangle might be on par, maybe a little bit harder to find.
Yeah, and Rusty's contribution is probably more rare, but not too completely sure. I have ran across 2 random Black Triangle boxes, but never a base first edition in the wild. And he means like the unlimited with the base first edition stamp on it. Obviously he's opened base first edition booster boxes. But I remember I was buying unweighed base unlimited packs because they just felt like good value. I wanted to be a DGen and I wanted to rip some. And I bought stock photo of a regular base unlimited pack, and he had 36 quantity. So it felt like it could have been someone framing it. It could have been someone framing it as being a complete box that he had ripped and just like Frankenstein 2 boxes together and skimmed off a lot of the heavies. But I felt fairly confident from reviewing the listing that it wasn't. And I think I bought an art set, and They came as Black Triangle packs. I sent a quick message and I said, hey, is this all definitely from one box? And within a couple purchases, because that was a lot of money at the time, I forget how much it was exactly, but I bought most of the remaining 33 packs from the box. So I got like for Black Triangle, I got Black Triangle packs for unlimited pack cost. At the time, it was a pretty niche thing. It wasn't like a massive premium, but it still felt like a pretty cool score to get. We actually have a couple questions coming up that I think will tie into this as well. And NP Pokemon, as far as I understand, and Nick, Rusty, I'm sure will probably have the same sentiment. I don't know of anything that can identify a Black Triangle box from the outside, and I'm not sure if a case is guaranteed. It would make sense that a case would probably be fed by the like sequential boxes but I've never seen or heard of someone like, maybe I did a couple years ago on Facebook or on Instagram or something. Did someone open a box from a case that had Black Triangle and then they had like a whole case to work with? That almost sounds familiar. I was gonna say that I hadn't, but now that I started to say that, I almost feel like I did.
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember that. But I know I don't think you can tell the difference apart from individual boxes. But it would make sense if there was
John said they
if
did.
there was a case.
Yeah, John said.
Okay.
So John remembers as well. I Met Seven has a case or two. He's the only person I know of with sealed boxes. Okay, so yeah, as I was starting to say that I've never heard of that, I kind of had one of those like deep memories get unlocked, where yeah, so that is a thing. It would make sense too, kind of logically. Again, whether it was days or weeks, I don't really know, but it's interesting history there, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
That Belly hit us with another question too, that kind of delves into the niches, and maybe Nick can grab these from his pack collection as well. Question: why are fourth print cards worth more, but the packs are worth less than third print? Some niche things can be too niche for their own good. As far as quantity goes, I did the whole hierarchy of like packs. I think fourth print packs would be in the realm of like Shadowless. I think they would be in that tier as far as scarcity, rarity, whatever you want to call it. There used to be a guy in Poland that had tons of them, and fourth print is like a misnomer. It wasn't actually. Rusty might chime in again. He might say it was the 12th or the 13th or the 14th print, whatever it may be. They were the ones intended for the UK. I think Australia and UK, you have some interesting variants there with the international 99 2000 fossil cards, 99 2000 copyright date, holographic cards. So if you open a fourth print on the back, instead of saying official Nintendo licensed product, it will say like international. Somewhere in there it'll say international, slight variant on the pack. Yeah, right there, international edition or whatever. And in the bottom right, all the non-holos will say 1999 to 2000 copyright date. And yeah, it has a curved Wizards logo instead of the square logo here. And holos are interesting though, because they have a chance of being 1999 to 2000, but then some amount of them will be 1999. I did a box not too long ago. John actually, Radar's in the chat. He bought a pack from me. Ray bought a pack from me. Unfortunately, people were hitting 1999 copyright date holos from a 1990 to 2000 pack. But yeah, the reason that I would say the packs can be worth less is just because it's kind of a novelty, kind of a niche thing. A lot of people don't know about, and some of the people that do know about don't care about it. So it's like maybe for reasons of having everything be in alignment, having things match, they'd rather have the base unlimited. More people grew up with the base set unlimited. So maybe it's just a thing. Like me personally, my whole base unlimited set from my childhood, that's all base set 1999. If I wanted to get a pack art set to just go with that as part of my collection, I would want the base set unlimited. I would value the base set unlimited more than the fourth print, even though the fourth print is like more scarce, more niche, whatever. Yeah, that's just my commentary, my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that's most of it. Is most people want consistency with the unlimited, the actual just 1999 copyright. There's not too many differences between the 1999 2000 and the regular 1999, but you can tell that the coloring is a little off. like the coloring is lighter on
Yep.
the 1999 2000 than it is on the regular unlimited. So at least for like me being like super OCD, I wouldn't be able to build like a set of a combined 1999 and 1999 2000. It would have to be one or the other. And for me, where we grew up with the original, it would have to be that one. But yeah, I actually did not know that the fourth print packs were worth less than the actual unlimited packs. That is interesting.
And one thing I'll say, probably via auction, I've sold a fair bit of fourth
That's
print
true.
while like in recent times while PSA is denoting the difference, and I sold a lot of them pre PSA denoting the difference. One thing I'll say, and I'm a big proponent of buy it nows over auctions in general. Things like this you don't auction. Things like this, if you auction them, especially since you're wasting, if you're putting in fourth print, UK, variant, whatever, if you're putting all that in the title, you're wasting keywords on things that a lot of people won't know about, care about. So I always go buy it now with that kind of stuff. And I have successfully gotten a premium on a lot of that stuff over the years. Again, more so the cards, less so the packs, but I've definitely sold some PSA 10 pack sets, art sets of fourth print for some amount of a premium. Inconsistent though at best. Inconsistent, niche, a lot more illiquid when you're trying to get that premium than just having the base set unlimited that more people know about. So yeah, interesting. Sometimes being more scarce, less printed, sometimes that's not for the benefit. Because liquidity is often a function of that. But yeah, interesting talks on some of the niches that fall right in line with Old School's collection.
I like it. I like it. Do a nice little collection show and tell.
You want to take this one first? So Latchkey wants to know, hi guys, I would very much like to hear your thoughts on the Japanese Detective Pikachu Returns card. I feel like it has been very overshadowed by Van Gogh and 151 and feel like it has great potential since it only came with pre-orders on the game and not included in every game box.
Now, are these the is this one with Arcanine
Yep.
or Growlithe?
Yeah, the Growlithe and the Pikachu.
Okay. I really like the card. I think the artwork on it is absolutely fantastic. But I also think where it's a Japanese where it's a promo, where you're gonna see a lot of these types of cards. There's gonna be a lot of them out there, even though it is a little bit more exclusive than some other cards. There's still gonna be a lot of them out there. So I think I got burned on the what are they called, the Charizard Illustrator cards. I remember those, and I bought a ton of those things, and so did everyone else. And after everyone got theirs back from grading and all that stuff, they really weren't worth much. You really didn't make much on those cards. And so after that, which that was a long time ago now, I really don't do too much with Japanese promos anymore. Just because of how many copies of that card had come out. And it's a Charizard, it's a really, really good artwork. You'd think it would be a good play, but it turned out to be not a good play whatsoever. Uh, so I think those cards will do. I think there's going to be demand for those cards for a long time, but I do think your price point is going to be very important. And then I don't know if there's going to be a huge margin to be made on those cards. Even like long term, I would be hesitant because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of those cards out there. But I do think like they're like $12 to $15 right now, somewhere in that range. I don't know if they're going to necessarily go lower than that, because they kind of started out, they were like 15, then they jumped up to 20 for a bit, and then they fell back down, and we really haven't seen them fall back down any further than that. So I think the price point is good, but I would be careful on those because I do think there is a lot of supply.
Wait, where are they $12? Give me 1,000 of them. I'm pretty sure they're like $35.
Actually,
That's
maybe I'm thinking the Chinese ones.
Maybe there's a Chinese one. Yeah, I was gonna say
I
like
saw a few posts the other day on Facebook. at 12. Those must be the Chinese ones.
They could have been Chinese. I was gonna say, like, in my opinion, the promo is doing really, really well, being at $35. That's one of the promos that. Oh yeah, I do see Chinese. 13.50. I didn't even know they made a Chinese one. So yeah, it had to be Chinese. I was gonna say, like, I had the opportunity. I was gonna buy. Someone quoted me 500 at $20 a pop for 10K. I contemplated it, but I'm like, the type of promo this is, the way that it goes, I was feeling 10 to 15 bucks. And the fact that it's double to triple of what my feel for it was, I feel like the promo is doing really well. As far as what it's going to do long term, is there another release? Are they going to print another million of them, 2 million? I have no idea. To me, it's done pretty well so far. It's held up a lot better than I would have thought. I don't have any. I didn't end up buying any. I had the opportunity for 500 at 20 a pop, and then 3 days later it was like 30, and I'm like, okay, I missed that one for now. Maybe I'll come back at some point, but usually I don't. So yeah, that's my experience. As far as crystal ball, what's it gonna be on any given day? I don't have anything to add there. That's just guesswork. We got Drama Llama Mr. Walrus in the chat. With the recent consignment drama, how much is Daniel skimming off the top? So I sell on eBay. My 5% vault consignment is done on the eBay platform. Unfortunately, I have some gripes with eBay over the fact that you need to use an external site, 130 point, at times to check what a card actually sold for. You can check them, though. It's a little bit more tedious with TerraPeak. So they do have a built-in, but why they don't have that integrated more smoothly, I don't know. But yeah, for anyone who is uninitiated on this, there was a bit of Instagram drama recently. I think Rattle covered it with a multi-part series. I think Opossum Bud was on it. I think that it made the rounds. It made the rounds. So, quick TLDW. PokeX Baller on Instagram had a Secret Wonders PSA 10 Lugia, which I actually have one coming soon to an eBay vault near you. Stay tuned for pricing and availability on that. Anyways, I'll have to advertise on Instagram and do like a little bit of a meme, a little bit of a play on the whole drama. And I don't remember exactly what we have it priced at. My consigner has it priced at, but in any case, this card was consigned by PokeX Baller through Charizard King 24, who publicly offers a 5% commission service, kind of like mine, except his is done through private Instagram deals, however it may be. I've actually dealt with Murph before, not extensively, but I sold stuff to him. He paid me and I sent him stuff. I had no issues, but it was like a very easy interaction in that he paid me and I supplied the goods, and I don't know how I'd have an issue there. But anyways, he paid out $4,750, which if you backtrack the math, that's on a sale price of $5,000. I believe PokeX Baller, and I might get minutia incorrect, but I think he said his bottom line was $4,500. I don't know if that's $4,500 net or $4,500 gross. But then another guy that I actually know, and I've done some business with PokeX Baller, Low Pop Pokey, also goes by the Godly Shad. I've done business with him, and I talked to him a decent bit. He was DMing with Zard King, and he told him it went for way more than $5,000. So I think that was like where the drama started. And then the consigner asked for receipts of like, hey, and then Charizard King actually produced false receipts. He produced a receipt showing a $10,000 transaction, saying that was part of the deal, of which it wasn't. Ultimately, Detective Rattle on the case, talking about the promo earlier, the Detective Pikachu on the case, he got down to where he interviewed the buyer who paid $6,500, we come to find out. And so it was like this moral dilemma of, well, and Professor Oak, actually, I think Professor Oak threw in a little bit of nuance, but I think he didn't elaborate in the same way I would have. And sorry, Professor Oak, if I misattribute, if I say anything differently, but flipping is fine. I think what Professor Oak was trying to say is flipping is fine, but flipping is not fine when you tell them you're consigning. So I think what was done by, so if Charizard King had someone come to him and been like, hey, I want to consign this with you, I would take this. If Charizard King said, hey, I would actually buy it for that. I think there's nothing wrong with Charizard King buying that card from Pokex Baller and then flipping it to someone else. But that's not what he did. He sold it while he didn't own it for a larger price. So he consigned it without the transparency and without like forwarding through the actual sale price to the seller. He never took possession of that card. He never owned it. Had he told, hey, you said you'd take $4,500 for this, I'll just buy it from you for $4,750. I'll just buy it from you for $5K, and then subsequently went and sold it for $6,500. Great for Zard King. He just made a great come up, a great flip, made $1,500, $1,750, however you want to look at it. But when you advertise it to your consigner that you're consigning, and then you obfuscate like what it actually sold for, and you, I mean, what was the math? It worked out to be a 16-17% commission. As long as I have all the facts, as long as it's laid out properly, which I think it all was, because actually I did watch the rattle videos and everything. How anyone can be on the side of Charizard King, I have no idea. Like morally, legally, in every respect, what he did was wrong, because he advertised and created that relationship as a consigner, not as a, I'm going to buy this from you and sell it to someone else. He could have done that in some alternate universe. He could have paid $47.50 to the guy, and if the guy was happy and he turned around and made, like, great and fine, but not once you initiate that consignment relationship. Very wrong on all levels. Every time I have consigners tell me in confidence, hey, let's list it at 10K OBO. I would take 7. I would take 8. I would take whatever the number is. My job is to get the most. Our incentives are aligned because my 5% commission scales up with the amount of the sale. Obviously, I'm only getting 5%, though they're getting 95%, so they're more tied to it. And you do run the risk as a consigner. And I always like try to be as careful as I can with this. But one thing I love about the eBay Vault, it's public to them. Like I don't even have the opportunity, not that I would ever try to, but I don't even have the opportunity to hide anything from them because it's all just out there, which I think is great for the market. It's great for everyone. Having all these like private deals, having all these consigners that work only through friends and family and this and that, I don't think it's great for the market. I think the market could use all those comps. And so sorry I went on so long here. Chime in with your own. Let me know what you think.
You know, I 100% agree with you. I don't know how anyone could defend him. I think that's such slimy business, and it just goes to show that he really doesn't care about anyone. He's just all about the money. That's my blatant opinion there. I've never much been a fan of him. He comes across as very arrogant. So I don't know. I've never been a fan of him. But that whole situation is not right. Like you were saying, when he's advertising, I will consign your cards for a 5% commission. He's not buying cards. People send him cards, whether that be people who don't have, he has a very big platform. So a lot of people don't have those types of platforms. So they can't sell the cards themselves privately. People don't want to be dealing with the eBay fees. So they trust him to consign their cards. He does have a very good business with mid-era high grade cards that you don't see pop up very often. So sending him cards could be, or it could have been, pre this whole ordeal, could have been a smart move because he does have that kind of clientele and that buyer pool available. And you're not paying the eBay fees, all that stuff. So when you send him cards to consign for 5%, like you said, Dan, nobody's going to offer buy it now consignments without knowing, okay, what's the minimum amount you're going to take for this card? Because as the consigner, when you're selling the card on someone else's behalf, you need to know, okay, I can't go below X price, but obviously I want to try and get the most amount of money possible. So that way we both win. We both end up making the most amount of money possible. Even though he said, okay, I want $4,500 minimum, if as a consigner, you go to a person and say, I'll take $4,500, you're a terrible consigner Nobody should consign with you. Because obviously you're gonna say, I'll do 6,000. Okay, I'll do 5,750, 5,550. You're gonna work your way down. You're not gonna start at the bottom. And so for him to say, oh, this guy said he only wanted 4,500. I got him $250 more than what he wanted. So what? That doesn't matter. You didn't he wanted that as a minimum. When you sell the card for way over that, that's not a consignment, and it's just such a scummy thing to do. And then for us to have all this proof, and for him to still not acknowledge that I messed up. Let me go ahead and repay the difference. It just shows what kind of person he is, and hopefully people don't deal with him anymore. And anyone actually defending him, I don't understand it. There's a few people defending him that I actually like, and I have no idea what their logic behind defending him is. It does not make any sense whatsoever. But yeah, that would be my thoughts. I completely agree with you, and think it's not right, definitely.
Yeah,
What he did. And he should make it right, but he's obviously not going to.
we got Ernesto in the chat. I don't get the issue here. The seller agreed to bottom price and got it. It's privileged information. So when you consign with someone, you give them privileged I mean, people give me their bank account numbers for bank transfers. People give me what they'd take on the card. People give me a lot of information I'm never going to share. My job is, hey, like my job is to get the most I can get for the card and take my 5%. Again, if Murph had been like, oh, you'd take 4,750, you'd take 4,500. If he had just said, hey, I'll buy it from you for that. And if he already had a buyer in his back pocket for 6,500 and he said, I'll buy, like, be upfront, be open and honest. If the guy's willing to take 4,750, hey, buy the card and then flip the card. There's nothing wrong with buying the card, flipping the card. Be upfront, be honest. He was lying. He sent a 10K sale, transaction, transfer that wasn't even related. Like, and then that's one of the things in the in retrospect of it all, Monday morning quarterbacking it, when you go through the DMs, when you go through all that, and he's like, he knows he did something wrong. He's calling himself a scammer essentially by manufacturing that receipt that wasn't valid. If he was all above board, all was happy, wasn't a scam, as he was saying, he would have just said, oh, here's the $6,500 transaction. You said you'd take 4,500. You got 200. Like that was the way he was framing it. So then why did he send a 10K receipt to the buyer, to the consignor? And why did he say that it was part of a lump sum thing, part of there were packs involved, this, that? He knew he was doing something wrong. So I think that's the most damning evidence of all, that he tried lying to get out of it. And then he's just stuck between this thing where he like lied about it, and he's, oh, yeah, okay, I scammed someone who got more money than they would have taken as the minimum. Like, big thing in real estate. And I'm not going to get into specifics, and I wasn't a party to the transaction. I know some realtors. I know a lot of people who've bought and sold a lot of houses. There are realtors out there that do, I'm not even going to say borderline, that do criminal things. So if I'm selling my house, I'm heavily relying on the realtor to price the house out, comps, this and that, whatever it may be. The realtor is the expert. In this case, Murph is the realtor. Murph is the consigner. There are realtors 100% who have, okay, let's go $500,000, market this, blah, blah, blah. Anytime a buyer comes to them to make an offer, they are not supposed to share any of those privileged conversations they have with the seller. The seller might need to sell the house within a month. The seller might have medical issues. The seller might have this, that. The realtor might know privileged information. The seller might list it for 500 and be willing to take 450, 425. Not only can you not tell the buyer that, not only can you not like act on that, not like try to just, oh, well, I'll give you the 425, we'll write it up for 500, I'll just pocket an extra 75 grand. But you can't use that information like that. You can't do that. You can't take the privileged information and then just use that to leverage it and profit all that money yourself. Like that is so, how Ernesto, and I don't know if Ernesto's just memeing, maybe he is, but how anyone can look at that situation with all the facts. I mean, Charizard King himself, essentially, by way of trying to hide it, cover it up, lie about it, he admitted that it was wrong or it was reprehensible in some way, given that he didn't just, like, what's the deal with the 10K receipt that he showed? That was him trying to cover it up. That was clearly him showing that he knows he did something wrong.
Mm-hmm. And Nesto said he didn't know about the whole 5% thing. That's why he said that.
Okay, I see the issue. Let me get this on screen just for okay, I see the issue. The issue is he promised only 5% fees. I just assume the worst always, so I guess that's why I'm not so surprised. Okay, so Ernesto changed his thoughts a little bit. But yeah, multiple DMs, and I actually I got sucked into it. I watched all the radio videos. I watched the stories by PokeX Baller. PokeX Baller actually has some cards on consignment with me. And in the future, for anyone, if you've been harmed by Instagram consignment services with no transparency, with no, feel free to reach out. Nick actively has Buy It Now consignments. Nick actively has some consignments going on. I have consignments done through the eBay Vault, ZNG Emporium, TCA Gaming. Why sell on Instagram with a few thousand followers? Sell on eBay with millions of buyers. Sell on eBay where you don't have to wonder, hey, I listed it with Dan for 10K and he only paid me out 80 whatever. Did he do that because I said I'd take 8? Or did he skim some off the top? You don't have to guess. It'll be on eBay. You'll see it. And it's good for the market, I think. It's good for the market to just have more comps out there. I actually have this exact card, Secret Wonders Lugia, coming up, and I'm gonna play off the drama. I'm gonna try to help my consigner out. I'm gonna do some Instagram stories and this and that. Maybe do a fun little reel about it. But I would rather have that $6,500 comp on eBay than have a claimed $5,000 sale. Oh, it was way more. All this drama, all this like, all this confusion. Just put the comp on the market so that PokeData will scrape it, so that TCG Fish will scrape it, so that we can have more price history for days, weeks, months, years down the line. I think price history is good to have.
Yeah. And I will say, going against consignment services, I would personally recommend consignments. Dan, James, Rusty, anyone like that. There's a ton of people who offer eBay consignments. You're not gonna get a better buyer pool, a better reach than selling on eBay. Or if it's a really high-end Heritage, Golden, all those auction houses. But if you're really dead set on not paying the eBay fees, which I would advise against, but if you're really dead set against that, I would recommend Pallet Town Marketplace. They have like 42,000 followers, and I've had some successful. I haven't advertised a ton through them, but I've had some successful buys and some successful sales through them. So if you're really dead set against eBay, I would recommend them. They charge, it's like $10 a post, so it's really not bad. And they have a crazy reach. So don't do these Instagram consignments. Just sell yourself through Pallet Town. Do a post through him. That's what I would recommend.
And I will say, we got Alejandro Quintana in here. My only problem with eBay is that we pay taxes on top of the sale price and the buyer gets far less. eBay pockets as much as Charizard King. So I will say, I offer an eBay Vault Buy It Now consignment service. You can do eBay Vault yourself too if you want to. But if you want me to do the work, if you want all that, I charge 5%. You can sell, anyone can sell. Greater than $250 card, 0% selling fees. I see Alejandro Quintana saying seller gets less. And then I see him also saying Feebay, which is always just hilarious to me. I've got to come to the eBay's defense. So, eBay Vault, 0% selling fee. So, literally cheaper than PayPal goods and services with eBay authenticity guarantee backing. Starting next year, starting 2024 sometime, I don't know if it's January 1st, I don't know if it's mid-year sometime, 3% buyer's premium. Watch out Golden, watch out Heritage, watch out PWCC. eBay's coming for you. 3% buyer's premium. Some bugs and some kinks to be worked out, as Rusty touched on the other day. But Alejandro, I don't know how you're interacting. I don't know if you're a collector. I don't know if you're purely a consumer. This is not advice towards you. This is general advice, my general understanding, how I go about it. If you are in this hobby, which there's a decent chance, 80 people watching right now, you're watching a podcast called PokeFlipz. A lot of you flip. A lot of you are here with the intent to make money. If your intent is to make money in the hobby, by definition, you are acting as a business in the eyes of the IRS. Verify that on your own, talk to somebody, consult, blah, blah, blah. But you should not be paying sales tax on items intended for resale. Every card I buy is intended for resale. I do not pay sales taxes on the cards. So the whole eBay thing, when I sell on behalf of my consigners, a lot of the people buying my items from the eBay vault, I sell it for $1,000. They're paying $1,000 because they have their sales tax, resale certificate, whatever your state calls it. They're not paying sales tax. I'm not paying fees. So $1,000 sale, full transparency. It hits 130 point. It hits eBay. Hits Pokemon price, Pokedata, all that stuff. $1,000 comes to me. $950 goes to the consigner. I make $50 for my time, for my advertising, for my service, and buyer pays $1,000. That's literally the whole thing. Starting next year, an additional $30 will go into eBay's pocket via buyer's premium. But yeah, if you're paying sales tax, I mean, if you're a consumer not intended for resale, that's the thing you're supposed to do. And maybe move to Oregon, maybe move to Delaware. I can't help your state's laws, right? Just like I can't help an international buyer on what their country's laws are, what their VAT, what their import, blah, blah, blah is. But yeah, all I will say is a lot of people are paying sales tax that shouldn't be paying it. And you don't need shady back alley Instagram deals to evade sales taxes. Avoid sales taxes legally by doing things legitimately, above board. More people need to do things legitimately, above board, on the books, and they will be way better off. Everyone will be way better off. And I had conversations with PokeX Baller. I don't think he'll be sending to a service like that anymore. But yeah, that's my.
I hope not.
Yeah, that's my more than 2 cents on that. Maybe that was probably a nickel at least. That's my nickel on that conversation.
Yeah. The sales tax cert is definitely a big one. But then again, it think of how long, I don't know, it took me years and years to get that. I didn't have that until it was like 2016, 2017. So if you're just getting started selling, it makes sense that not a lot of people know about that. But that is something that you should look into if you're selling.
Panga says, I love fees, take more. Oh, what did I just... I don't know what I just did. I just accidentally took away Mr. Walrus's mod status. He's a moderator again. When I click on the highlight thing, every click I do to highlight a message acts like a right click. So if I accidentally double click, it bans people. I've accidentally banned people a few times. Mr. Walrus, please type in chat so that we know you're not banned. But yeah, Mr. Walrus says, Dan using Zard King's drama as advertisement. Savage. How could I not? I mean, you know that GIF? It's free real estate. How could I not? All the issues that arose from that. And I've had many times where someone, hey, I want to list it for 10. And I would take, like most items I do, my items and consignment items, there's no offers. But yeah, I've had multiple people send me a card for 10K. Hey, I'd take 8K, I'd take 7K, whatever the number is. And I'm fully transparent. Like doing a buy it now consignment service, as Brad here, you know Brad's got to be Brad. Basically, Dan gets $50 for doing nothing. Shipping the card in, and there's work involved, obviously. But buy it now consignment, there's definitely more work involved than there are with auction consignment. But yeah, I ship it, or where was I just going with that? Brad's throwing me off. Brad's always trolling, always throwing me off.
I have no idea.
But I forget where I was just going with that. I threw his message up and then I got all off track. But yeah, oh yeah. So people send me a message. I will often screenshot messages. I will screenshot a message and say, hey, here's an eBay message I just got. I know you're at X price. And sometimes if people are firm, there are times where just recently we had a card on sale. I won't get too specific to give off the exact card, but the guy was in 5% of our sales price. And I actually went and I looked at what the comps were, and he was dead on the money with a recent comp, like exactly, hey, I'll just match this comp. And it was within 5%. So I sent him a message and I said, hey, I know this is a little bit lower. I'm talking high end, high 4-figure, almost 5-figure card. Which if I say too much, I guess you might be able to search my eBay sold and find it. But yeah, I was like, hey, are you interested? Are you, if not, no issues whatsoever. Do you want to counter this? Do you want to ignore it? Do you want to say firm price? And we got a deal done. I went a little bit low, but again, this was during my sale promotion. I took no commission from that. I forwarded along an interested buyer's message, and I do that a lot. If they're, I mean, I shield people from listing a card for 500 and saying, will you do 250? Will you do 3? I shield people from all that nonsense. But if someone is realistic and if someone seems serious and if they get close, I will just show you. And then not only do I show them up front and be fully transparent, but it shows on the back end. So there's receipts on the back end. So even if I was trying to do something shady, which I would never do, I can't hide it. It's hitting eBay. It's there. It's done. It's in public view for everyone, which I think is, it's kind of why I might make a video on this in the coming weeks, just to, you know, keep feeding into the drama. You know, you got to ride the hype cycle waves. But it's why I do heavy and light packs instead of unweighed packs. I don't want there to be a question of, is something nefarious going on? When you sell unweighed packs and you have a part box at Collecticon, people can wonder. They pull an on hollow and they wonder, did he pull out some heavies? Did he skim this some? Did I have a fair shot? I don't want any of that question as much as possible. So I always try to do things with as much transparency as possible. That's just the best way to go about things, in my opinion. Anything else?
Definitely.
Anything else to add on that?
No, I would say we covered the Zard King topic well enough there.
Question: is there a way to consign with Voltimall collectibles? I'm assuming he meant without directly supporting you. That's funny. Here we go. Ernesto says, Dan, thoughts on making this pod once a year instead of twice a month? I think I hit Ernesto with a pretty sick burn.
Oh, that hurts.
That's a pretty good burn, Ernesto, but we're going to stick with twice monthly. I think I hit, or actually it's every other week. It's fortnightly, right? A little bit different. We do 26 a year instead of 24 a year. But anyways, this is a Q&A. Ernesto's in here every episode. Shout out Ernesto. We love you. Thanks for being in the chat every episode. He's always jumping. It's like, this is like, you ever read those books when you were younger, a Choose Your Own Adventure?
I used to love those books.
This is a Choose Your Own Adventure book. It's a Q&A. Like, chat is leading us to where we're going. This is a Choose Your Own Adventure book. Ernesto comes in here, every episode he chooses to jump. It's like, ask us engaging questions to lead us towards conversations that you want to have. But instead of that, Ernesto chooses option C. He heads for the cliff every time. Oh, man. Love you, Ernesto. Okay. That took a long time. I don't think we've lost any questions yet, but I just scrolled way back. We're like an hour behind now.
I can believe it.
Let's see. Professor Okuma. You heard that thing about Professor Oak changing his name?
Yes, he can't change his name back now for a month.
Shout out Java Okuma, and actually Java, I lost it in the chat somewhere. When I see it again, I'll throw it up on screen, but Java dropped us 5. I wanted to throw this up so I could throw that up too. Java dropped us 5. There we go. 5 memberships. Appreciate you. But yeah, Java Okuma co-hosted as a guest while Professor Oak was sick on the Slab podcast. So, Professor Oak used that to change his name to Professor Okuma. Professor Oak was treating his YouTube handle as if it was Discord or something. I know a lot of people in Discord, they'll change up their avatars, they'll change their names, all this and that. don't do that with your YouTube, folks, because I think Professor Okuma is now what we're gonna have for 30 days, 90 days. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a hilarious little accident. Um,
That was funny.
Java says he should change to Java Okuma. Uh, let's see. Yeah, we're at the turkey leg point.
Man, we are way behind here.
Okay, so you want to start here, Nick? It's from a fellow Nick.
What do we got?
So PokeFlipz question.
Oh,
How can you sell me on Pokemon versus the S&P 500? I make hundreds a year in interest doing nothing versus sourcing cards, modern PSA 8s, haggling buyers, plus eBay fees. So he try to sell him on doing the S&P 500 over Pokemon.
no, Pokemon over the S&P 500, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I said that backwards, I think.
Um, the quickest answer is it's a lot more fun. That's always been my answer. Stocks, retirement plans, 401ks. I don't have any interest in that stuff. That stuff is boring to me. I know, Dan, you like that stuff, but I don't. I have zero interest in interacting with that type of stuff on a daily basis. Whereas Pokemon is like my life. Without Pokemon, I don't know what I would do every day. I would have so much free time, and I would be so bored. So for me personally, it's both a business that I can interact in and make money, and it's also a huge passion of mine. That I truly enjoy. So why not combine something that I enjoy with something that I'm good at in order to make money? Um, that'd be my quick short answer for that. Plus the like, personally, I feel a lot more accomplished being able to say that I built a business and I'm building a business and I'm building a brand and all of this stuff versus, okay, I clicked a few buttons on a computer, I bought some stocks. I don't know. I know some people enjoy stocks and there's a lot that goes into that, but me personally, I don't enjoy that whatsoever. Um, and whereas I do enjoy building a business and building a brand and working towards this goal of having a full-time business and being full-time in Pokemon and all of this stuff. So for me, that would be my answer. Is just mainly it coming down to this being a lot more enjoyable and having a lot more passion behind this.
Yeah, people who know me know my channel. I think this space has enough Pokemon positivity that it doesn't need to be sold to anyone. I think for a lot of people, like Pokemon already comes first, and but yeah, it's a lot of ways it's more fun, but it's more of a job too. I mean, to some people, that's not fun whatsoever. If you enjoy possessing, having these things like pass through your hands, then great. If the thought of making an eBay listing and entering buyers' messages and buying boxes and going to the post office or UPS or FedEx, if that all sounds terrible to you, then there's going to be no selling it for you. Me personally, I go passive in traditional stuff. I fund all my retirement, tax advantage buckets, blah, blah, blah. And then I go active in Pokemon. I really enjoy the active nature of like trying to find the play, trying to find deals on big lots, and then optimizing. What do I grade? What do I sell raw? What do I bulk out? What do I list on my own eBay? What goes to DC Sports? What goes to ZNG Emporium? What goes to like? It's a fun game, and to an extent, S&P 500, all that is kind of a fun game too, but in a much less active way. I'm looking at that once a quarter or so. But yeah, each have their pros and cons. We're I'm at exactly 1 hour ago. Still like turkey leg talk in the chat where I'm at. Oh, that's funny. Here we go. Bierski Collect says, finally transitioned the hobby into an official business. Hello, taxes. Finished the last step today. Big things for 2024. Congrats and welcome, Bierski. No more paying sales tax on your items intended for resale. That's great. And honestly, too, I forgot to mention earlier, but the whole Fibe thing. I love selling to resellers who have a resales cert more than I do anyone else. Any eBay seller that pays close attention will know this. When I sell $1,000 thing to somebody well, eBay Vault is different. So if I sell a $100 thing, I pay $12 in fees, 12%. If they live in a state where it's nearly 10% sales tax, like in New York, like where I am, they pay 110. I pay 12% on the 110 instead of 12% on the 100. So it actually costs more money to sell to about 1% more, 0.5% to 1% more to sell to non-resellers. I actually prefer when the person I sell to has a vault or lives in a sales tax-free state or has a reseller certificate because I pay less fees, which is great. So Bierski charging less fees to all the people he buys from.
I like it. I like it.
Need more resellers out here. I say that mostly in jest. Obviously, we rely on, if we don't have the end consumer, all this goes away, right? If resellers are reselling to resellers and everyone has to make money and everyone's only in this for the money and no one's the end consumer, all this stuff dies really quickly. The end consumers are the largest part of the foundation of all this. So I say that all very tongue-in-cheek when I say that. Mr. Walrus says, Nick is lying. It was just me and him for most of his 12-hour eBay live. Even at 99 cents, it was overvalued. Didn't buy anything. That's funny.
Thanks, Walrus.
Here we go. So Aiden M, I love the stop sign because it makes me unable to miss the questions. As a small and passive seller who may be looking to shift towards vending at shows, what advice would you give on upscaling both inventory and expenditure? Good stuff priced well. It is nice to have a little mix of niche stuff. You never know when you're gonna find like a random, like 1,000+ Pokemon in the Pokédex. There's a collector for every one of them. But there is disproportionately more collectors for your Mews, your Mewtwo's, your Dragonites, your Gengars, your Charizards, your Pikachus, your Umbreons. So make your inventory kind of reflect the general sentiment of the market. Like, give the market what it wants. And what it wants often is the more modern, the better. But also, like, there's a lot of liquidity in that. I just recently, on behalf of a consigner, I'm listing tons of base set unlimited, tons of jungle fossil first edition. If you're low list on a PSA 9 base unlimited holo, that thing's gonna move real quick. Just like if you're low list on a Celebrations Charizard or a Moonbreon or something like that. So liquidity lies very vintage, very modern, and it lies with the most liquid, most popular species. So try to not have like too much niche stuff is what I'll say. Don't upscale like in super slow moving things. Try to stay where liquidity is.
Yeah, I think that's important. Stick with stuff that's gonna have a wider reach and a bigger buyer pool. And then the other thing, good pricing, like you said, Dan. What was oh god, I'm drawing a blank on the name. Josh and Retro's podcast, Cardboard Hands. They had a good one today. And Retro was talking about a comic book seller who is all about volume and just taking lower margins to just get stuff out. And I'm starting to think in that same fashion, where it's almost better for me anyway. And I think this could apply to a lot of people too, to take those smaller margins and just consistently move stuff, keep moving inventory. I absolutely love these eBay lives. I am flying through inventory. I'm making a lot less. I think I'm not a lot less, but I'm making less per card than I would having it listed as a buy it now and waiting for that right buyer, or even listing it as a 7-day auction and having it go through a normal regular auction. I'm making less per item, but I'm selling. I'm averaging 100 orders a day that I'm shipping out. Whereas before, pre-live, I was averaging 50 orders a day. So I've literally doubled my business. I'm making less margin per card, but I think overall I'm making more money because of how much more inventory I'm selling through. So I would I would recommend that type of business model. Don't worry so much about your individual margins. Price your stuff good so that way it moves and you can consistently have that kind of rotating inventory. Don't ever end up in a position where you're just sitting on dead inventory that's going to take weeks, months, years to sell through.
Yep.
Mm.
I'm assuming this is with respect to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Martin wants to know, can you guys talk about what you bought, if anything? I went on to TCG Player on Friday. They had a crazy deal. I pay for that subscription thing they have where you get an extra couple percent, add on the 2% credit card. I want to say it was going to be like 17 to 19% discount. I spent like $7,000, $8,000 in more ultra modern booster boxes, like Sword and Shield era. I was trying to fill out like certain sets I only have 1 or 2 cases of. I made a video on it a few weeks back, but I dropped like 7-8 grand. It all got canceled, and then I split it up. I figured it was too much money, whatever. I bought a bunch of Celebrations Charizards. I bought a bunch of like other singles and stuff too. I probably spent 7 to 8 on boxes and a couple grand on singles, and all of it got canceled. So then I'm like, okay, let me chop it up some. Maybe it was too much money all at once. I verified my credit card. I run a lot of money through them. I pay them off in full every statement period. But I'm like, maybe I didn't go over on that. I paid that down just in case, whatever. I ran them all through again separately. Some of my singles orders got through. All my $1,000 plus multi-case orders got canceled again. I probably have an email somewhere from TCG Player support. I'm so annoyed with them. Like eBay's my number one. TCG Player. There's times where anytime I've tried to drop a few grand on it, they always cancel it, and I need to like reach out to support, and I need to get some verification, and they need to like, I don't know if it's like fraud type things coming through. I don't know what it is. They won't take my money. So I tried buying a lot, and I ended up buying a few Celebrations Charizards, essentially. What about you?
That sucks.
Yeah, I was bummed.
Yes, TCG Player, I took advantage of that. I didn't go nearly as heavy as you. I think I spent just under 1,000, maybe right at 1,000. It was close. On Friday, and then I bought more on Sunday. It was a lot of so like a lot cards that go well together, like low end cards that go well together do really well on the eBay lives. So like I bought a few of the like amazing rare sets, all 9 amazing rares. I bought the 3 starters Radiance from Pokemon Go. I bought the legendary dogs from Crown Zenith, the evolutions from Crown Zenith. The like hollow and reverse hollow Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur from Pokemon Go, bunch of stuff like that. That like goes well as like a little like 3 to 9 card lot. So stuff like that I'll be able to go through, hopefully pick a few out to grade, and then if not, be able to put them in nice lots and auction them off on the lives. And then I haven't been paying attention to PWCC in a very long time, but I went on there Sunday night, and I also bought, I think I ended up winning 40 graded cards. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can make something off of those through the lives again. Just kind of trying to get more live inventory to keep that flowing and not feeling like I think if I don't keep sorting new stuff fairly consistently, I'm gonna reach a point where I feel like it's getting repetitive, and maybe buyers don't notice that, but I think if I go too long without buying anything new, it's going to reach that point, and I don't want it to reach that point. So I gotta try and get better with staying on top of sending cards off, getting new cards in, buying new cards, all that stuff. So that's what I did over the weekend.
The Pool Father wants to know, did you pay the premium for the first edition of CGC 10 Ninetales on Heritage last night?
I didn't even know there was a Ninetales on Heritage.
You
No, I did not buy that. I did not buy that.
Which you really only do the no damage Ninetales, right? Like you don't have a first edition Ninetales collection, do you?
No, I'm just the no damage Ninetales. And even that, I've gotten my 50 copies. I haven't bought a single one since when was the last one? I bought one in number 50 was actually in Long Beach, and I haven't bought one since. I've had there's someone on Instagram trying to sell two, and I've had a ton of people send me their stories. Which I do appreciate everyone who's done that. But yeah, I think I'm good at magic number 50 until the PSA 10 comes up. Then we'll get 51. And then I'll have to get 100 to make it another even number.
Rusty wants to know if we submitted any at the PSA 13.99 special. I didn't. The only submissions I've done recently were at the $40 value plus. How about you?
I didn't either. And I don't know if you're in the same boat. But again, going back to the lives, I can't justify spending $14-15 with PSA when CGC is an option at $10. Being able to get that quicker turnaround time, having the cost be 2/3 of what PSA is. It's really really tough for me to justify sending cards to PSA over CGC. And the cards that I'm sending, like obviously, like I did just recently send some base set Charizards. I sent those to PSA because I think those will do better with PSA. Those types of cards are higher end. They don't do as well through the lives. But the majority of stuff that I'm sending right now is like I just sent or I should say Walrus just sent a ton of the Paradox Rift illustration rares. I pretty much sent every single one of those cards that I had. Those are all going to be like $20 to $50 cards. I don't think paying PSA the premium is worth it. Plus, having to wait that extra time is really worth it. Now, the bigger chases and the more expensive cards, where I'm going to be listing those, where I would list those buy it now, those might be worth sending to PSA. But the vast majority of what I'm sending is these lower end cards. So it just doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah, I hear so much crap about CGC, and every day I'm packaging up CGC 10 pristine orders, and I'm packaging up, like I'm moving them, and I've sent more in the past month to CGC and BGS than I have to PSA. I'm definitely still sending to PSA regularly. I just had my grades hit on a bunch of fresh PSA 10 Celebrations Charizards and Blastoises and things like that. But I'm still very happy with my business that I do with CGC and BGS overall. So I'm doing all three. There's opportunity in all three.
Have you gotten any well, your Flareon was, so yeah, you have. What do you think of the new cases with BGS? They do look and feel a lot better. As much as I don't like BGS, those new cases do look and feel a lot better.
Overall, I still like CGC's the best, but yeah, I would say it's an improvement.
Yeah.
Professor Okuma wants to know, which Pokemon do you eat, if any and all. I would eat if Pokemon were real, just like animals. Just like I would try any of them once, and I'm sure my favorites would be the crab related ones, the deer related ones, the cow related ones, all the typical things. There's probably some surprising ones though. Like I'm not creative enough to think, but there's probably some pretty tasty ones that you wouldn't expect.
I don't know if I would try all of them. You would try a Garbodor or whatever the trash Pokemon is?
I like the animal related ones. And I don't know if Garbodor, that would just be trash inside, right? That would not be you've got like I can't imagine Klefki would be that palatable. You've got this weird thing where it's like some are animals, clearly, and then some are you wouldn't catch me eating any Quaxley wings though, for sure. I would not try Quaxley ever. Nor Charmander. I would try a lizard before I would try Charmander.
Boys. Don't be eating my boy Squirtle either.
Ooh, some Squirtle scoop? Now that would hit the spot.
Yeah, no, I think I would agree with you. Krabby, Kingler, King Crab Legs. Oh, that would be the best Pokemon. Is there a lobster Pokemon? Lobster, maybe. That would be a good one. Um, and then what's the new ice cream cone? The vanilla ice or whatever his name is. He would be a good one.
Vanillux,
I would eat
Vanillish,
him too.
Vanillite. Yeah, that's like a 3-part. I think it's 1 scoop, 2 scoop, 3 scoops, right? It's like small, medium, large. uh,
Oh man.
we got class at 12. Anyone else getting wrecked by a PSA lately, especially from New Jersey office? I hear all these things. I never agree with them. I never get that feel. I just had grades hit today. Just grade 10s. Most of my stuff that I got back was 10s today. I don't know what you're grading. If you're grading WotC, if you're grading mid-air, if you're grading tough stuff, I grade, the market wants participation trophies. That's the society we live in today. I provide them with their participation trophies. So that's what I do with PSA. Do you see this like, oh, the New Jersey office is wrecking us. PSA is so much harder. I saw Walrus at one point memeing on it in the chat. Like, I'm still grading 10s. I don't know about any of you guys.
Yeah, I haven't gotten I just got a small PSA submission back. And I didn't notice anything different. It was fine for me, but I haven't been getting a ton of submissions back. But yeah, no, I don't think I haven't noticed it myself.
And I will say, like, we submit on a higher volume. There are absolutely subs where I get a much lower 10 rate, where I get more 9s, where I get the occasional. I think there was a 4. Whether I sent a bent card, whether they bent it, I have no idea. I don't really care. I'll just send it to DC Sports 87 and move it on. Roll it into fresh capital. But overall, like, PSA is not out to get you. They are inconsistent, as they always have been. I've been doing this for going on 10 years now. Nick's been doing it for a long time too. It all averages out in the long term. As long as you're doing relatively reasonable things, as long as the market's like in a relatively reasonable place and you're doing like plus EV things, you'll take some L's here and there on individual submissions, on individual cards. But long term, if you're doing it right and the market's there for us, like it all works out. Don't take anything too hard, I guess is what I'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Walrus says, question, why is Dan encouraging more watchers on listings than snap buying on his recent video? How much more can he hurt the hobby? That part was for Nick. I don't know if you watched my video or not, but I gave like the little buyer tip. Sometimes I'll send offers out on a card, and you can click a button to opt in to automatically sending it to future watchers. A lot of times I do, depending what it is. So I against my own benefit, I tell people like, hey, if I've got a card for $100, I might have already sent offers out to people for 90. Click watch. Within 5 or 10 minutes, you'll get an offer from me for 90 if I've done that. If I've not done that, you won't, and then just decide to buy it, whatever you may do. But I think it's a good little buyer tip.
Yeah, 100%. And my one gripe with this whole thing is eBay just recently started that whole auto sending offers to buyers. And which is a good thing. Because now eBay is sending a lot more offers to my buyers, and I'm getting a decent bit more sales from that, which is awesome to see. But my one gripe with that is, how do you opt out? Because like I didn't realize I opted in on one of my listings, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to turn it off.
I think you need to end it and relist it.
That's what I did. I ended the item and relisted it. Because
I did that
had
once
no
too.
idea how to turn it off.
Yep.
And it was something like I wanted to offer a special price for my Black Friday sale, but then after that I didn't want to offer that price anymore.
Yep.
So I tried to figure out how to stop it, and I could not I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure it out, and I could not for the life of me figure it out.
I did it once on, I want to say, a listing that I had, like a replenishable. Like I see my PSA 9 and PSA 10 Celebration Charizard listings as much of a replenishable. And I wanted to just like clear it out because I knew I had a PSA sub coming back. Well, Then I realized, hey, there's 20 new ones in there. I don't want to sell them all for this low. I just wanted to clear out the last 3 or 4. And the thing that I came to was just delist, relist, and then not do that again. So pretty much I only click that option on non-replenishables. If it's a promo that I have, say, 10 of, 20 of, and I know that I'm not grading any new ones anytime soon, then I might click it. But if it's something I'm going to replenish, then I don't click that button.
Yep.
So Noiser PXE wants to know, do you guys use scan forms for the post office, and how do you guys prepare the package drop-off? Do you guys add your packages in a big cardboard box along with a scan form? Thanks. You want to go first?
Sure. So I never used to use scan forms up until very recently, which I feel bad for the post office about that. And and the reason why I never did it was because I kind of break when I'm packaging orders in the morning, I kind of break everything down into 3 categories. I do eBay standard envelope, which obviously that doesn't get part of the scan form. And then I do like bubble mailer stuff, and then I do have another pile of boxes. And when I'm printing off the labels, I print the eBay standard envelope one time, and then I print all the bubble mailer stuff the next time, and then I print all the boxes the next time. So everything's kind of stays in order. And I didn't realize that the scan form would continuously update until you got to, it's like 100 items.
100, yep.
And then it kind of drops the first 100 items off. So I didn't realize that was the case. I thought it kept updating every time you printed new labels. So I never used the scan forms, thinking that, well, if I used it, only a third of my orders are going to get the scan form and the other 2/3 aren't. So I never used it, but that's not the case. The scan forms do continuously update. The only thing you have to worry about is 100 items. There's a 100 item limit. And the people at the post office really do appreciate it. It makes their life a whole lot easier. And it also helps you as the seller, because you don't have to worry about them not scanning one in and you getting a defect by the tracking not being uploaded on time, whatever. So I would definitely recommend it. And but yeah, that's basically all you do. You do all your packaging like normal. At the end, once you have everything packaged, you print off the scan form. I put everything into, I got like I used to use like if you go to the post office, most of the times they'll give you one of the post office bins.
Yeah.
I used to use some of those. Now I just use like one of the big plastic bins. I have some of those that I use. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I've been using them for quite a while. I think the reason Nick started using them is because it came up in a PokeFlipz, and I talked him into it. Kind of like how he and Squeaks got me to stop using packing slips. But I think I originally started using them several years ago, where I used to take my mail back when I had a normal job. I used to go to a small city near me, and those clerks actually told me about it. I can't believe, Nick, your clerks never said like, hey, you know that there's a thing that saves us a lot of time. Start doing this. One annoyance with me, and I will say for anyone who works night shift, as I'm working right now, I do 2 scan forms every day. So I start my shift around 5-ish, 4:35. I do 1 scan form then, because scan forms go by the day. I work, so everything that sells up until midnight, I have to ship the next day, because I do 1 business day handling time. But I don't start work until after post office closes for the day. So usually I'm working till 1 to 2 a.m. or so each night. So I do a second batch at like 12:30 a.m. for everything that sold between 5 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. I do a second batch. Because if I printed a bunch of my labels, and part of the reason, sometimes I want to get to bed shortly after 12. So part of the reason that I don't just do 1 at 12:30 a.m. is because sometimes it's more than I want to do all at once. So I do it in 2 waves to just make it be less of a load at the tail end of the workday. But anyways, anytime I try to print a scan form between about 9 p.m. and midnight Eastern, they always fail. And I've brought in like 50, 60, 70 packages to my post office before that I tried printing the scan form at like 10 p.m. It fails. And then I tried at 11 p.m. I tried at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. And then once the next day ticks over, you can't do it anymore. It says there's no packages available that you have to print a scan form for. So yeah, that probably doesn't apply to many people, but I figured I'd throw in that little tidbit there in case anyone else prints packages on the night shift like I do. If you have issues generating the scam form, it might just be because you're landing in that awkward window. I don't know if eBay is refreshing some system. I don't know if USPS is refreshing some system, but that's just my experiences. So 2 scam forms every day for me, even when it's only like 20, 30 packages. What's your number? Like, I don't know how frequently you'll only have 5 or 10 packages. I think my number is like 5. If I have 5 or less, I don't do a scan form, but I do a scan form even if there's like 6, because it saves them a little bit of time.
Yep. Yeah, I think I would do it no matter what at this point. I've never. It's been a long time since I've had that few orders. You for me. Like even on Thanksgiving when I didn't have any sales or anything going on. I had like 20 orders to mail out on Friday morning. And I printed one off then. Because it does save them a little bit of time. Plus I like the idea that like the whole avoiding human error. They have to scan 1 sheet of paper versus scanning 6, 10, whatever the case may be, packages. I think that's another nice advantage to it.
Mm. Noiser PXE has a really quick one here. eBay doesn't give me the option to select my slab to withdraw from the vault. Excuse, this item cannot be withdrawn because of its location or listing status. If it's a live listing, you can't withdraw it. So just go in, end the listing. You might need to give it a minute or 2, and then you can do the withdrawal. You can only withdraw unlisted items. So yeah, that's an easy one. Beyond that, if you have some, I've never run into an issue. I've only withdrawn a few cards. I actually have one fresh on my desk here. I have a CGC 9.5 Burn Tower old label. So I'm gonna send this in for the new Gem Mint 10 label. Other than that, only a couple other cards. I'm probably doing a withdrawal request later today. Very, very uncommon. But in the event that you need a card back that you sent to me on consignment, it's many times it's as much, if not slightly more expensive than the card just selling, because I pay fees to withdraw from the vault. I don't pay fees when I sell. But yeah, I have on some exception cases, some fringe cases, I've had to withdraw from the vault. And it's pretty straightforward. Used to be for a while too, you could only withdraw card by card, but now you can do like bulk vault withdrawals. You can do multi-cards.
That makes it nice. That's stupid, card by card.
Yeah. And I know Rusty just had that nice interview with Coffee Talks podcast on DJ Gigabyte's channel with Dave Person and Dan. He talked about how some of the issues he's had with the vault and how he's withdrawn some cards, and I'd imagine he's doing like the bulk multi-item withdrawal. I don't know how many cards he's taken out in total, but I would imagine it would be a big annoyance to have to do like 50 cards one by one or something. I don't know if there's a value limit. I don't know if there's a quantity limit, but I do know that you can do more than one at least, is all I know. Let's see. Okay, so we're at the point that Java gifted the 5 subs. Thanks again.
Thank you, Java. Do appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you, Java, as always. Okay, so Chazer, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Question with the stop signs, you love to see it. PK made a video about anecdotal more 9s coming out of PSA and 10s that seem to be a bit harder to get. Have either of you experienced this trend? If so, what submission tiers? Thanks. This whole game of California, New Jersey, value tier versus bulk versus value plus, I think you're getting lost in the sauce. You're way too deep in the weed. You're not looking at what's important. Pre-grade your cards well. Send them off for grading. I give all the grading companies crap. I think overall they're too inconsistent for my taste, but they're doing the same thing they've been doing. It's not. You're completely, in my opinion, expending energy in a very non-useful, non-productive place. You're not going to get anywhere with this, in my opinion. And I think I watch most of PK's content, but recently my watch later has gotten burdensome. I might have missed this one. I leave a comment on almost every video I watch. Long form videos that I watch. I probably not a lot of the short forms because I watch at 1.5. A 10-minute video, I might not even be at the computer. I might be packing orders. But if it's an hour something long video, I almost always leave a comment. So maybe I'll have to go look and see if I left a comment on it. I just consume way too much content and I can never remember. But overall, I just disagree with that take by PK, which I don't think he'll take offense to. It's weird if anyone agrees on everything, right?
I think he'll take offense.
Maybe.
No. Yeah, no, it's tough to stay up to date on his stuff when he's live every other hour now.
I know my watch later just recently got like assaulted. Pokemon Wonder just had on
Yep.
Oak for 3 hours. Slab Podcast was just a couple days ago. We just had Colt was live last night. Lots of way too much stuff going on.
Yeah, there is a lot to listen to. I listen to a lot of it. I don't comment on anyone's. You over there commenting on every single video that I watch. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't buy it this time. I don't think it's a thing this time. Like the whole 2 cert versus 4 cert. I remember that. That was that I did buy. The getting stricter during that time period. But then the 4 cert versus the 6 cert, that I didn't buy.
It's literally every era.
I bought that somewhat, but not as much. And now this one, we're in the 7 cert versus the 8 cert, or the 8 cert versus the 9 cert, or whatever. I don't buy this one. I don't buy this one. I think in the very beginning, yes, we did have a drastic change in grades, where grading did get a lot stricter. But now these new changes, I don't think it's as much anymore. I think it's just more of the same. I wouldn't put too much emphasis or weight or thought or whatever into it. Now the whole package or cards getting damaged more frequently, that I have seen a lot more of. And that might have something to do with the New Jersey office, because there does seem to be a lot more cards actually getting damaged. DSA sending those emails saying that we damaged your card. That does seem to be happening more frequently now than in the past. Maybe it's just more. I'm seeing more people talk about it. Who knows? But that does seem to be happening more. But the whole grading, getting more 9s and 10s, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
And honestly, if you're spending time and energy on thinking about optimizing what tier, like send them at the proper tiers, worry about the cost and the turnaround time. Don't worry about what it's not a thing. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not a thing, Gretchen. Come on. That's my opinion. I think so many people waste so much time refreshing the tracker, trying to optimize for these things, where they see trends on their small anecdotal data, or they hear a YouTube channel talk about that. I don't think it's a thing. Or if it is a thing, it's so inconsistent that it's not gameable. It's not like actionable. So just regrade your cards and send them at the proper tier. That's my take. And I did pull up PK's video quick. I commented on it. I commented normal inconsistency. I just got 80% 10 rate on a large bulk sub. I never pay attention. I don't know if mine are coming back from California, New Jersey. I don't care. I don't pay that close of attention. It's meaningless. Say New Jersey is grading harder. You can't choose where they're graded. So what does it matter? Send or don't send. Regrade your card. Like, what are we doing? And this is not against you, Chase. Like, this is very common sentiment. Again, this is as much against PK's sentiment and that video. And I don't think it's worthwhile. It's not a worthwhile pursuit, in my opinion.
I'm in agreement with that. Although, how you don't know your cards are coming back from New Jersey, I don't know. I don't know. I find that very fishy.
How?
Aren't you signed up for the FedEx and UPS emails? And
Yeah,
every time they get a package, you get a text saying, "You have a package coming from New Jersey, tracking number."
I get them, but I don't really look at them too close. I don't know.
See, those I will look. I don't look at the PSA tracker, but I do look at the FedEx, UPS, USPS trackers.
To a fault,
Those ones I do
like
follow.
I need to be better about paying a little bit of attention because there's almost certainly stuff that slipped through the cracks. Like when I buy 20 Celebrations Charizards on TCG Player, I make sure that I get 20. But if I get like 19 and the 20th one never comes, I already threw away everything. I have no way of knowing who's. I guess via tracking would be the way. But the lower value cards, I wouldn't have an idea. I
Mhm.
I need to be better with some of that. So honestly, to a fault, I need to pay a little bit more attention. But some people out here paying way too much attention.
Yeah, that is true. But heard it here first. Any of you guys want to scam Dan on TCG Player? He'll never know.
If I buy a $5 card from you, there's a decent chance I bought 50 of them, and I probably won't realize if you don't send it to me. I'll know someone didn't send, but I won't know who. Uh,
um, I've been getting my TCG Player orders, and I don't know how people make money on TCG Player. The amount of people who must spend like hours packaging a 50-cent single is ridiculous.
have you had the
I had someone send
handwritten?
me a what was that?
I've had handwritten packing slips. They literally just copy down everything that was
Yeah,
on the screen of the packing slip. It's insane.
absurd. Yeah, I got like notes. I like that. Thank you for your business. I kind of like that. But it's on like a $2 card, and then like handwritten envelopes. I had someone send me an amazing rare Reshiram, which is like $1 card in one of the like the 200 count card boxes. It's like, really? I don't get people. I do not get people.
Yeah. This was shortly after I accidentally banned and then quickly unbanned him. It was my idea for a dedicated podcast channel, and all I got was a walrus Bidoof emoji. We appreciate you, Mr. Walrus, the live chat goat. Um, oh crap! I just jumped to the bottom. We are like 45 minutes behind, so we're catching up. We're making progress.
Got a chance we'll catch up by the end.
Oh, we will. We will. We always do somehow. The Ghetto wants to know, Dan, what crypto do you have? Um, I have had over the years a lot of. I wouldn't even be able to tell you all the different ones that I've had because I used to just screw around in Coinbase. Pretty much anything Coinbase sold, I probably had a little bit of it at one time or another. As of today, I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, and then I have USD coin. I think that would be it. Maybe a little bit of Litecoin on my ledger. Any crypto for you?
Nothing. No.
Mr. Walrus wants to know when you bringing back the year one Christmas giveaways again. It's so tough.
Yes, those were fun. I
I think
enjoyed those.
I think we had more time then. That was a lot. That was a
That
lot.
was a lot. That was a lot. That was.
If anything, it would have to be just one bigger one because that was too much. Like daily, I think we did daily alternating Instagram posts and shipments. Like that was too much. I don't know how I had the time.
Oh my! Is it time to post a one Instagram post a day?
Said the guy who said he was gonna post one every day all year and then gave up on it a few months in.
This is
Uh,
true. This is true.
Darren wants to know how to package a 17 card order. I'm assuming it's raw because he says leave everything in its own top loader or question mark.
So for me, I would um So if it's like bulky cards, like modern commons, uncommons, I would just throw everything into 1 or 2 penny sleeves. But if it's like higher end cards, like $2, dollar a card, whatever, I would individually penny sleeve everything, and then put everything into an Ultra Pro team bag. Here, I got everything right here. So you get some of these Ultra Pro team bags. Throw all your cards into. You get all the cards, throw them on into the team bag, seal the team bag up, and then stick the team bag into one of these Ultra Pro graded card sleeves. So just like that. And then you take some Ultra Pro top loaders and put 2 on either side to kind of sandwich the cards in, seal that shut, throw it into your bubble mailer, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
That way you're not having to pay as much postage. Because obviously top loaders weigh they don't weigh a ton, but they weigh a decent amount. So if you top loader each individual card, you're gonna have to you might have to pay more in postage than you would if you just did what did it how I said it. How I said to do it. Um so that's how I mail everything. Not, unless it's like a 1 or 2 card order, nothing gets individual top loaders. Everything gets sandwiched together and kind of consolidated like that. And that's worked out really well for me. I've never ran into an issue where an order like that has been damaged. I've had PSA cards get damaged. I've had cards PWE get damaged like that. But like multi-card bubble mailer orders like that, never had an issue like with that.
Mr. Wara says that question was from Dan's alt account. Man's too prideful to ask for advice. Thanks, Nick. um, I would say he
You're
actually
welcome, Dan. You're welcome.
Garen did clarify lots of $2 to $3 V's and V Maxes inside this order. I would do the same thing. I would do individually in their own penny sleeves, and then I would go in the team bag. Instead of using 2 top loaders to sandwich it, I have sheets of cardboard. I actually ran out of them. I have more landing like tomorrow, I think. But I use a sheet of cardboard that I wrap around them, and then I do my quad zero, my double zero bubble envelope. The only difference would be like I do sell my grading misses on eBay on TCG Player of like Celebrations Charizards. If there were something like that, each one of those would get their own card saver. I don't use top loaders, but if they're like 20, 50, $80 cards, they would each get their own card saver, and then they would get the same cardboard sandwich into the pad envelopes.
Yep. Yeah, I will say if it's a bigger single like Celebrations Charizard, something like that, then they do get individual top loaders. Yes.
And here's class at 12, just following up on the earlier commentary. Yeah, Chaser, my gem rate is usually between 85 to 95%. Last 3 orders graded in Jersey were more like 60 to 70%. Same types of cards, same pre-grading. Inconsistency. I will just say that's their normal variance, their normal inconsistency. The issue is, I think a lot of people submit just a few times over the year, and they'll get 60% gem rate. Oh, they're grading tougher this year. They're grading tougher this time period. And then they'll get another one. Then that'll confirm it. Okay, yep, 2 in a row, confirmed. I don't know if these are 50 card sample sizes. I don't know what these are exactly, but it's just too small to make anything from. And then when they get like, oh, well, now 3 submissions in a row, I just got 95 again. Oh, I actually got 100 on that one. Oh, they're grading easier again. They're really letting up. So in the 2-cert area, they were easy. In the 4-cert, they were harder, and then they got hard, and they got harder, and then they got harder. They're always getting harder. Yet look at gem rate. Look at all the data. Look at all the information. They're always getting more difficult. Yet there's people always out here still getting like 40, 50% overall 10 rates. It's just not. You're gonna have it from time to time. It's just the ebbs and the flows. It's just the normal inconsistency, is my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like look at my I mean, really further exacerbating the issue when you're looking at like black labels, because PFM's video there, the resolving power at that high what's the word I'm looking for? The the further refinement of the grading scale, I guess, the increased resolving power required. I had a 20% gem rate on one black label on one Nagaba. Sorry, 20% black label rate on one Nagaba submission, and then on the subsequent one, I had a 1% black label rate. That's overall the black label rate's 10%. I got the high end of that. I got the low end of that, and they averaged out to 10%. Long term, you'll probably hit what you're normally hitting, but it'll be fairly choppy because PSA's consistency, CGC's, BGS's consistency, fairly choppy.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with you on that one.
Classic 12 says, what's been the best play recently and why is it TCG Classic? So I have one behind me. I opened like 12 of them, I think. I only sent 4 or 5 Charizards, I think. I sent them at the value tier like a week later than I should have. I was just behind and busy with other stuff. But yeah, I sent a handful of Charizards, some Blastoise, Venusaur, and some Pikachus as well. Not a crazy size play. Maybe I graded 12 or 15 cards. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of them. I probably should be getting them listed on TCG Player or eBay or somewhere, but I've not done it yet. I have the big, heavy, massive, empty boxes just in a stack right now. I don't know what to do with them. I really don't want to sell them.
Sold.
You sold them all?
Yeah.
What you get out of them?
Really quickly too.
I need to get them listed then.
The first one I got 130, then it dropped down to 100. Then the last few I got at $80 a piece for them.
$80
and
for
I was
the
actually
empty?
really surprised. What was that?
$80. I'll take. I mean, if they pay shipping and I make $5 a piece, I'm happy.
No, you'll do well with those.
Holy! I gotta get those listed.
It's all the it's the damage counters, the condition markers, the deck boxes, everything except the decks. Is what I was selling.
Did you ship?
And I was surprised.
The whole huge box too, or just the contents?
Yeah. No, I just shipped it in the brown box that you get it in.
Holy.
And I was surprised because the most I paid for shipping was someone in Texas, and it was like $18 shipping via USPS, which I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. So I was surprised by that.
I need to get those listed tonight.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Or if someone wants them, reach out. Like honestly, I'll put them all in a big box, or maybe I'll have to do 2 big boxes. I actually recycled. I recycled already all the boxes they came in. I didn't even think about that. What am I gonna ship them in?
You? Yes.
Yeah. So if someone wants, I don't know, probably weight-wise, it would be bad to do all in one. But if someone wants a bulk buy of all my empty ones for like shipping plus like $10 a piece, honestly, I would just bulk them out to somebody.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say, getting back to the question. I've sold all the contents, which was good. I was happy to get rid of that, free up some space, because those things take up a lot of space. The cards I sent everything off. Now again, we're a little bit different where I'm on the lives and you're on regular eBay. So I sent everything except the trainers and the energies off. All the other cards. I opened 4 decks in total. So everything got sent off to CGC. And I think it'll do well. I do still have to list the trainers and the energies and stuff like that. But personally, my best recent play has actually been the Charizard premium collection boxes. Not the UPCs, but the one where you get that little plastic card stand, you get the Charizard, Charmander, Charmeleon, and the 6 packs. That's been my best play recently. Because now obviously getting it through distro is different. But I pulled it wasn't nearly as big as Rudy, but pulled a Rudy and bought out Southern Hobby. They had it was 180 left, and I took all of those and broke them all down. Um, a Charizard promo, the Charmander, the Charmeleon look really, really good, and you're getting the 6 packs. Now, obviously, with the packs, I sell a lot of those through the lives, and Obsidian Flames, Paldea Evolved are really, really popular through the lives. So I've got the avenue to resell those packs. But for me, that's been the best play recently. And I haven't gotten any of my Charizards back yet from PSA and CGC. I noticed you sent me one for consignment, so you must have done the higher tier. I sent all mine off at bulk.
What did that
But
go for?
I'll be curious when I get those back.
What did that go for on the
What
live?
was that? I think it was like $3 or $4.
Scammed.
No,
I'm gonna need to go
no,
back and
I
check the
honestly
receipts.
forget.
Yeah, I have those.
Still look at that.
I think I slightly undercut. I think low list was like 102, and I went 99.99 on the Charizard EX. I paid 35 to grade those, which was honestly pretty risky. But so far it's panned out. I don't have a ton of sales, but they're trickling out. I listed for 99.99, and I did the 10% sale. I just threw them on December daily deals, so they're gonna get slightly cheaper from there even. But yeah, I had quite a few of those come back. The I think I sold the Mewtwo's at like 180. I sold the Mews at like 140-ish, the gold Mews. And I was late. Like, I'm late on all these things. I don't send them out the day I get these things in. But that was a pretty decent little play for me, too.
Yeah, I need to start sending stuff off at higher tiers. I got to get better about that.
It feels disgusting to say it, but that value plus $40 for a week, at the time it was $35 for a week, that's pretty decent value depending on the stuff that you have. I feel so dirty saying it. I hate paying PSA that much money to jump my own cards. I mean, I'm paying $40 a card to delay my own bulk that's always in there perpetually. So it feels so bad. But as far as dollars and cents, it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's another live that was on recently. PK had Ernesto on. I did not watch that yet, but what Shining Treasures cards did Skate Ernesto pick up last night? He wants to know Ernesto's plays in chat.
That set does. I'm excited for that set. Now, obviously, I'm getting a few Japanese boxes. I hate trying to find emojis on the desktop. It is so much easier to just search for emojis than it is to find them on a desktop. But anyway, what do we got? Yeah, Shining Treasures. Really excited for that set. I'm gonna be getting a little bit of the Japanese, not very much. But then the English set, I'm looking forward to that one.
What you pay per box?
I have some coming at 80 a box, and then I want to get some more. I just heard 75 a box. Was the most recent that I heard.
I've got a few
So,
cases coming at 80 each.
Yep. I think that was pretty much the lowest that you could get for close to release. And then 75 will be I forget in like a week or 2 weeks maybe with shipping, 2 or 3 weeks with shipping maybe. So it'll be definitely after release. But yeah, I am looking forward to that set. That set does look good. Now what are you doing with your boxes? Are you just gonna plan on listing them on eBay?
I'm just gonna list them on eBay. I might do
Okay.
I might do a stream. I might stream it around. I don't even know when release day is. I know Java just did a stream. I think
Today,
last night.
actually.
It's
December 1st.
today. Yeah, so since
Yep.
I'm late, I know Java did one last night. I might not do it. Maybe I'll just wait to do Paldean Fates. When's Paldean Fates release?
End of no, January, the 26th, something like that.
Oh, so that's quite a while still. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I might just do a RuneScape stream this month. uh,
When are we gonna see your monthly eBay Live rip and chips?
I really don't want to that much. I don't know how you do it. Hours on
Oh, you
camera
got all
every
my
day.
hopes up and everything.
I like the live Q&As. I like just hanging out, answering questions. If I can do it on release day, like the 151 release day stream, Paradox Rift, I would have done, but I was in Houston and then I missed release day, so I just didn't have the hype for it the next Friday or whenever I had the time to do it. So if I'm available and if I have the product, I'll probably do sets on release day. But if I miss that, I'm just not really interested.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is tough once you get past release because then pretty much the day of release you see every single card. Even if you're trying to avoid like the spoilers, pretty much the day of release you see every single card on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
Once release day comes, it's impossible to avoid.
Yep.
Even now it's really really tough to avoid that stuff. I've seen a lot. I try and stay somewhat surprised for each set, and even me, I've seen pretty much everything within whatever this new set is, Chaldean Fates,
Yep.
that we know of so far. Because you have to stay off Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else if you don't want to see this stuff.
Yep.
It's really really tough not to.
Um, Mr. Walrus, true 5% consignments available. He's got a new name now. At what point do I just quit and go back and get a real job? I mean, you, at what point do you? So he's asking us, at what point would you quit and go back and get a real job? I think it's actually a good question. For me, the number would probably be 50K. If I can't make $1,000 a week, I could make so much more going back and doing an air quotes real job. I would be happy to make less money doing this, but not like significantly less. Like there's some floor, there's some minimum, and I'm not at any risk of falling under that threshold anytime soon from what I see. So I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I think mine would be similar. And the other aspect to that would be if it ever becomes obviously it's work, but if it ever becomes like truly work and something that I don't enjoy anymore. Because I feel like in order to be successful with this, you do need to enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, you're way better off doing something else. You're gonna make more money doing something else. But where you enjoy it and you're making money at the same time, it's a win-win.
Um, Dark Lava Lizard, with eBay Vault fees at 0% for sellers, are you sending any and every card over 250 to them? Have you had any luck getting eBay to tweak their generic description? I feel like with how unprofessional their listings look and low quality their pictures are, it will turn off buyers from wanting to buy since the listings almost look like scams. I think eBay has a lot to do with respect to cleaning things up, and I think they have a lot to do with respect to buyer education. Like, I think they really need to even further increase the added visibility of authenticity guarantee, direct from eBay Vault, direct from Catch 'em All Collectibles, whatever it may be. I think those things do stand out, but a lot of people don't know how it all works. Like eBay, if you're listening, I know a couple of my reps have listened a couple times. Do some more promotional, like outreach, consumer education on what exactly it is. You guys have something great. You guys, if doing it correctly, like it can take down PWCC Heritage Golden a few notches. Maybe not completely eradicate them, but if it's executed on properly, and I think certain things are definitely lagging there. Why are the scans not better? I think the scans honestly are pretty good. I wouldn't say that I think they're too bad, but the generic description too, I would write it a slightly different way, but I think that's better than these like AI generated whatever lengthy. Get straight to business, be concise. So I like what they're doing for the most part. I personally, why pay 12% fees when I can pay 0? I send everything above 250. If you look at my store and you sort high to low, there are still some amount of listings between 250 and 1,000 I've not yet sent to the vault. But part of that is because consignor cards take precedence. I recently just had one guy submit like 300 cards to me. 200 are for the eBay, 200 are for eBay regularly, which I don't do typically. I'm just doing those for larger consignments. But I have 100 from him for the eBay vault. I have 100 plus of my own for the eBay vault. I have another consignor who just sent 50, another consignor who just sent 25 for the eBay vault. So all those are going in first. All my cards 250 plus will be sold exclusively through the eBay vault as soon as possible. I've just not gotten there yet. That's where I'm at. Because why pay 12% when I can pay 0%? That's where I come from.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I do think there is room for improvement, and I think it'll come eventually. It is very frustrating sometimes. But we got to remember eBay is such a massive company, and the eBay Vault and eBay Lives are such a small little speck of what they're making right now that what's the obviously long term there's massive incentive for them to do this, but what's the immediate incentive for them to be doing this? They're not making they're making a lot more off of everything else than they are eBay Live, eBay Vault, and all this stuff. So it's just going to take a while for those changes to take place and for them to kind of fine tune everything and get everything up and running and all of that stuff. Um, but yeah, I think the scans are decent. I think they could definitely do a better job with that. The listings, I think they could do a better, making those look better and all that stuff. But hopefully that will come with time. And I do think eventually, long term, they're gonna get a lot bigger, and they will definitely compete with PWCC and Heritage and Golden and all of them.
And I'm very optimistic on their rollout being fairly slow. Like, I think I would be happy if it were a bit quicker, but the last thing I want, the last thing that would be like good for the consumer is a 14 million card backlog. Like everything the grading card companies did with respect to scaling was what you cannot do. It is embarrassing. It is shameful what grading card companies did. And some of it, a minuscule amount of it, was outside of their hands with respect to the pandemic and all that. Most of that was their fault, not doing the math on inputs and outputs, just doing the math on what was coming in versus what they could put out. So I hope eBay is doing the math and scaling. Like, oh, eBay Vault minimum is 250. Your consignment minimum is 250. If you would just, like James gets all the time, if you would just drop that $5 fee from sub 100, I would send you 1 million cards. Yeah, so would everybody. That's why he's not. He's scaling responsibly. If eBay Vault would just lower the price from 250 minimum to $25 minimum, I would have 1 million cards to send. So would everybody else. That's why they're not doing it. Like, I like that they're rolling out slow and sustainable, and I'm optimistic on, like, people want minutes, hours, tops. I'm fine with weeks, months, years if it means, like, I'm thrilled with how eBay Vault is going so far, and there's a lot of room for improvement, but I'm still thrilled with what it is. It's amazing to me, and I think it can only get better, and I'm optimistic on it getting better, but that's over months and years. That's not like, you're not going to snap your fingers and it's going to all be perfect tomorrow. So if you need perfect today, probably don't go to the eBay Vault. But if you have cards that can benefit from that lower rate, like, I am all for it, and I have a lot of that inventory. It really fits my patient style. So yeah, I'm very bullish on the eBay vault and eBay Lives too.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. It'll be interesting for sure.
Your average player, Pokemon Steven, says that he'll often lose money on cards to sell volume and bump sales numbers. If you guys do this, to what extent do you do this, and how often? I wouldn't say I ever like intentionally lose money on a card just to bump sales numbers. The only exception for that would be like I have a 2,500 card store, and that does include consignments, but I sent all of my own personal items. I have a quick way to just filter out all the consignments. I sent all my stuff to a 10 or 25% sale. There are certain ultra modern sealed products that I took a slight loss on, but say I have 24 cases of Scarlet and Violet. I might have sold 4 of them at a loss. I didn't care enough to spend the time to go in to calculate like exactly what my break even was and make sure that I didn't put the sale in excess of that. I just chucked it all at once. 5 or 10 items I might have shipped that I lost money on. Big deal, not worth the effort. So I either only unintentionally do it, like I'm never consciously thinking like, let me sell 50K in stuff at a loss. But theoretically there could be an event. Like say I was getting a down payment for a house. Say I was paying off some big student loan, whatever it may be. Like there are reasonable times to do that. I've just not done that recently, I guess. The only time I recently did it intentionally was like, yeah, I'll lose money on a couple items for Black Friday. Because like the vast majority of my store that I did the 10%, 25% sale, I'm still making money after the sale. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. There's nothing that I would intentionally lose money on. But there are definitely cards like the biggest one for me is through like the eBay Lives. There's some stuff that goes very very low, and you lose money on those. Which is all right when it happens. It definitely stings a little bit on some cards, but overall it's not too bad. And luckily it doesn't happen super often. And I don't think I would ever want it to be like intentionally happening all the time. But yeah, it is going to happen all the time, or not all the time, but it is going to happen every once in a while. You just
Next,
got to take the cards you do well on and average them out with the cards that you don't do well on.
yeah, for sure. Next question comes from Eric Drinks Water. Can you provide an example case of how you would use something like TCG Fish? I find the fact that it only shows one card at a time after multiple menus a little inefficient compared to Pokédata. I'm checking to verify they haven't enacted the change yet. How TCG Fish is still not showing raw card pricing from TCG Player blows my mind. I've made this suggestion multiple times in their Discord. So have many other people. I get that it doesn't work as well for WotC. It doesn't work as well for Mid-Era. But for ultra modern cards, TCG Player near mint, that is like a near ubiquitous price point. I've said many times, cards don't really have a fixed market price. TCG Player near mint is as close as you get to that for ultra modern cards. So yeah, but other than that, TCG Fish has a ton of great information. I don't really use it because I don't really buy individual auctions like that. But the undervalue bot, it'll show you like relative to recent sales data. This card is at 60% of what it's recently gone for, 80%, 20% of what it's recently gone for on auctions ending soonest. So they have tons of great stuff. But like, please add raw TCG Player pricing, please. Because I just go to Pokédata. Look, if I'm looking for a air quotes play, if I'm looking for a play, I want to be where it's all in one screen. I go to Pokédata, it shows me the 10 price, it shows me the 9 price, it shows me the raw near mint price. And then you just do some math and, okay, I'm going to buy 100 of these. I'm going to buy 200 of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't used I don't use TCG Fish very often. I use Pokédata data a lot more.
You guys hear that, TCG Fish? Someone clip it and post it in their Discord. I want to use TCG Fish in a lot of ways. Like I love both sites, but I think TCG Fish does certain things better. But the main thing I need is the raw near mint price, and Pokedata has that, and you don't. So that's as simple as it is. Cheeks Galore 209 says, question, have you guys seen the deals on TikTok for Pokemon? Big discount with the coupon codes, finding a bunch of stuff under distro price. I've seen it. I've not acted on it because I want in quantity. I don't want like one-off, two-off things, so I've not gone for any of them. But yeah, I've seen $60 Mew UPCs. I've seen $60 V-Star Universe boxes and $50 Scarlet Violet Paldea Evolve boxes, whatever it may be. But like one-off, two-off.
Yeah, and that's how it's going to be. They don't want to be giving these they want the discounts to be for new people. They don't want you to be over there buying 100 Mew UPCs with the discount.
Yeah.
The whole point of these discounts is to get new people on TikTok and people talking about TikTok and all that stuff. So yeah, that's why it's always limited and all that stuff. And I'm the same way. I have not bought anything from them, but it is some of the discounts are pretty wild.
Yeah, it's customer acquisition. I'll just cover this one really quickly. Sold by Danchu, what is your preferred source to price cards for both graded and ungraded? I think we just covered it, right? TCG Fish and Pokedata, primarily Pokedata, since they also show the ungraded.
Yeah. Yep.
They're talking about eating Pokemon now. We're almost an hour behind again, so we got to speed up some. Probably go. We didn't really talk.
You said we were gonna catch up.
We will before the end. We always do. I'll just. We'll have to.
Not a chance.
100%. We will catch up before we end. 4:30ish probably. We didn't really talk about it beforehand. 4:30.
What was that?
4:30ish probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I think there's a big spread in here where like there's just not many questions. So here's one from Max. I just went like 15 minutes to find the next question, so we're 45 minutes behind again. Are there any drawings you know of Pokemon who originally would be part of the first gen but didn't make it, or any other products comparable to the Rusty's Lava theme deck? I know Rusty has a lot of like those ancient Mew playmat type concept drawings and things of that nature. What was the isn't there like an alternative Raichu evolution? Raichu was going to evolve into somebody else in the original. I feel like PK has talked about that before.
I have no idea on that one.
I'm going to look it up real quick. But yeah, Gorochu. Gorochu was, according to Atsuko Nishida, this creature has fangs and horns. That being said, Gorochu was ultimately scrapped due to limited game space. So he was going to be in like red and blue, I think, but then they ended up scrapping him. You can Google Gorochu and you can see like this Raichu with extra spikes. So there are definitely things out there. I forget what the Instagram is called, but there are like prototype, whether you'd call them alpha, beta, playtest, whatever you'd want to call them. There are like pre-TCG concepts out there by some of the original creators of the TCG. Maybe someone, Max, can let you know in chat, but there are Instagrams. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's Ishihara's Instagram. Some higher ups at Nintendo, some of the early artists, they have some pretty cool stuff that they drop from time to time. Obviously in the Creatures deck that came out a year or two ago, that gave us like the Beta Chansey. That was a new release, some new thing that we discovered from the history of like pre-TCG release. Beta Chansey was not alone though. That was not the only one. That's the one we got in the deck. But there's a lot more like concept drawing type things out there. Whether those will ever hit the market, I have no idea. But there's definitely stuff out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then like Rusty's the jungle blister pack with the Jolteon on the actual like blister pack artwork.
And the FPO stuff.
That was another cool one.
Match print. There's a lot of
definitely
stuff
out there.
Yep. Jordan Calamara. Hey, Dan and Nick, what are both of your thoughts on Shiny Treasures EX? I try to avoid spoilers. I've not yet received mine. I do not yet have the time to watch Java's opening from last night. At some point, I'll probably watch a little bit of that. I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing. I usually don't watch much opening content, but yeah, I don't really have much to share because I avoid spoilers.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a cool set. At first, I didn't think it was going to be a very good set, but the closer we get to the actual release and seeing the different cards in the set and all that stuff, I think it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I'll interact much with the Japanese set, but when the English set comes out in January, that's when I'll start paying a lot closer attention, I guess. The one thing is though, it is a massive, massive set. I don't know how people are going to be able to collect the entire set. There is a ton of cards in the set.
There's like more secret rares than
It's
regular cards, I think.
it's like
Crazy.
I was gonna say the shiny vault is literally like an entire other set.
Yeah.
It's getting absurd. I wish they would kind of dial the set sizes back a little bit here.
So this question
But then
by
again,
oh
I was
finish.
gonna say, but sorry. They did that with Obsidian Flames to some extent. The illustrate there wasn't many illustration rares or SIRs or anything like that, and to me, Obsidian Flames was a boring set. So maybe I want a smaller set, but I don't really want a smaller set. I just don't know what I want.
Uh your average player asked this, I think, before our other one was answered. But yeah, Walrus had asked, at what point would we go back to our normal jobs? Your average player asked, talking personal finance, at what point does the margins and monthly income become too low for you guys not to have another job? Easier for Nick, but more difficult maybe for you, Dan, since Bill's covered. I think we both said our numbers. I don't think I'd ever. I think the most likely thing for me is not pivoting out of Pokemon full time back into the workforce, back into being employed by someone else. It would be more likely pursuing other self-employed endeavors. Um, there's definitely other ideas that I have, and there's other things on my mind for down the line. But as of right now, I'm riding the wave. Like right now, this is more than I ever could have imagined. When I quit, I knew I was quitting into like a popping bubble, essentially. And way exceeding expectations for what this market still remains over 2.5 years later.
Mhm.
And then your average player followed up
Yeah,
with.
I don't know.
Let me
Go
just
ahead. Go ahead.
let me add this here. I just saw that he followed up. This also goes for taking a degree. At what point does the fun of the job become stupid to overvalue over something like a 100K engineering job? If you want to add on both points there, and then I'll come back to add a little more with that follow up.
The on the first part, yeah, I would say similar range, 50, 60 for as far as like pay goes, and then like we said earlier, once it stops becoming fun, if and when it ever stopped becoming fun, is when I would look into doing something else. And then taking a degree, at what point does the fun of the job become stupid to overvalue something like a 100K engineer job? Uh I think that's all personal. It depends on like what your actual goals are and what your aspirations are in life. How much money do you want to make? How much value do you put on money? What are your goals? Obviously for some people money's not everything. Whereas other people money is a really big important part. So I think that really depends on your situation and what you want to do personally. Um, Me, I value the fun more. I have a awesome time doing this, and I'd love to continue doing this. And even if it does mean making less money, then I'm okay with that. But who knows? Maybe in a few years that'll change. Maybe then I'll want to make more money, and I won't want to work as hard, and I won't want to be doing this anymore. Um, but for right now and for the foreseeable future that I can see, I'd love to continue doing this.
Yeah, I'm in the same spot. Like, there's a number. If my company called me up and was like, hey, 40-hour weeks, you set the times. Like, a lot of it depends on what exactly the employment situation is. I had pretty strict hours that I had to be there. If they called me up and they said $250,000 a year, 40 hours a week, you set the 40 hours that you come in, and I could just like hammer out three 13.33 hour shifts, I would be doing that. I would figure out a way to make that happen for some amount of time to just juice up all the accounts and get to that FI number quicker. That's not coming anytime soon. I'm not in fear that that call will actually come. But yeah, there would be a number, but it's dynamic. Today's number would be different than tomorrow's number and next year, and it would have to be a ton. It would have to be so high that I know that call's never coming. So I'm not worried about it. But there's always a number, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Here's another one where the answer is always it depends. Ghetto says, what's worse, being addicted to alcohol or being addicted to cigarettes? Worse from what perspective? For who? Like, I have kids, so from some perspective, like, both are terrible. I mean, to be addicted to a substance, I hope nobody out there is suffering from any of that, and hopefully you can reach out and find the right resources if you are. But thankfully, I'm not at all. I definitely do drink alcohol. I drink not too frequently, but when I do, sometimes I have a decent bit. But I can definitely not have alcohol as well. But yeah, I grew up with friends and family members who were affected by parents and things like that with addictions. To the kids whose parents smoked, I always felt so bad for them. Like, they just stunk up the whole school bus. They stunk up the whole classroom. Like, there were kids whose parents chain smoked so hard that, like, at least if their dad was an alcoholic or their mom was an alcoholic, it didn't like secondhand affect them. I mean, barring fetal alcohol syndrome or something serious like that, if they did it while pregnant, which sadly that's a thing too. But at least alcohol doesn't have the secondhand direct effect of like inhaling that. If, I mean, again, crazy stories, crazy scenarios. If you're a child and your parents are such addicts to alcohol that they're driving you around drunken DWIs with children in the car, that's absolutely a thing that hits the news every so often, like horrific things. Thankfully this isn't going to wrap up our podcast, but yeah, depending on the scenario, they both are terrible. Please seek help if you're addicted to any of these things or know anyone who is. Thankfully no one super close to me in my life are.
Yeah, I would say they're both. I would agree with you on that one. I would say maybe alcohol. I don't know. That's what I would say.
They're both really bad. Like, yeah, it just depends on the perspective and the extent, I guess. Like I know both of which the people are like generally functional. I know people who are alcoholics that will go out every night of the week, but they'll get a ride home. Like, they'll be responsible about it at least. And I know chain smokers who smoke 6 packs a day, but they at least like go outside. They at least like are fairly clean and tidy and you can go in their house and you wouldn't know to a crazy extent. But then I know chain smokers who smoke 6 packs a day inside their house. All their ceilings are yellow and everything's disgusting. Like, so I know both extremes of all of it. I know, yeah. It all depends on how exactly the details fall.
Yeah. That would be the biggest part for you, I guess. We need more specifics.
Or we don't. That's fine too. Oh, Java actually won a Christmas giveaway from Nick back in the day. Hidden Fates ETB. Solid.
Oh, congrats, Java. I forgot about that.
I just did the same thing to Java that I did to Mr. Walrus, so hopefully he's back as a moderator again.
You just love enforcing the ban hammer.
I don't know why, but every click acts as a right click, so it opens up that menu every time. Sold by Dan Chu wants to know when you're going to hire someone to scan your eBay Live auction preview photos.
Never happening.
Never. There we go.
There's a big controversy going on now because I used to scan every single one of my auctions for the night. And so every auction would have a unique picture of what the card is. And I finally, very reluctantly, stopped doing that. And so now every auction just shows a picture of my logo. And so you really can't tell what your what people had bid on, what people had won before. When people do win stuff, you really don't know what you won unless you have a good memory or you take a screenshot or you write it down or whatever. Um, but it really does save me a lot of time every night. Um,
Do other
it
sellers
saves
do
me
that?
like an hour a night not doing scans.
Do other sellers do that or no?
There's more sellers who I would say maybe 50-50, maybe slightly more who just have like a generic thing over actual individual pictures.
Hmm.
But no, not coming back. Not coming back. Now that I've seen the light and how good it is on this side, you're not going to see it. Uh,
Kashmir Fire wants to know if you guys only had a few $100s to source raw cards for grading, would you go for low dollar amount but more cards, or just a couple of cards with decent value? I would need to know more
ooh.
specifics about like how much time you have, and the issue with going too high dollar, if that's all you have and it all has to pay for itself and there's no fresh capital coming in, no deeper well to dip into, like if you blow it all on 4 Celebrations Charizards and none of them 10, now you just went backwards, you tied all that up, like you run more risk. But I would veer away from TCG Player, and I would go more to eBay where you have actual photos, and I would be way more stringent with what I bought. I would still target something like a Celebrations Charizard. I would rather spend 90 on eBay than 75 on TCG Player, where I can have photos and high confidence that I'm gonna get that 10. And that's just a random example. I'm not saying it needs to be that card exactly. That I always use that card just as an example. It is one that I frequently am doing, but there are a lot of other cards, many with even better margin and stuff.
Yeah, if you're going the buy raw to grade play, I think I would agree with you, Dan. I was going to mention that whole don't buy on TCG Player thing. Buy locally, buy off of Facebook, buy off of eBay, where you can buy from small sellers. That's another thing. Who are willing to send you more pictures, and all that stuff. If you reach out to me, I don't know what would you do, Dan? What if someone says, "Can I have more pictures?" I always just say, "I'm sorry, I can't provide any more pictures." Um,
I sell all my stuff as stock
and
photo. I sell all my stuff TCG Player style, so I don't entertain it. If you wanna, and the thing is, I straight up tell people in my listing descriptions, do not buy these if you want PSA 9s or 10s. I grade my 10s. I'm selling you my grading misses. I literally say that in my description. So make sure you're reading the description. Make sure you're looking at the photos if you're doing this thing that we're talking about. Don't buy from me. Just like, please don't if you're trying to grade 10s.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, buy off of someone who's going to be willing to show you pictures and all that stuff. Locally would probably be the best option. And I think I would go for the higher dollar amount cards as opposed to the lower dollar amount cards, because those are typically going to be quicker to move, and you're going to be making a little bit. You'll make more, like, percentage wise it will be less, but like dollar amount wise you'll be making more per card than you would with the lower end cards after all your fees and your shipping and all that stuff.
TKK Collector says Rudy mentioned high yellow and high white lights used by his grading company. You incorporate different color lights into your pre-grading. My room has like 5,000 Kelvin daylight bulbs. That's the light that I like. I think I run my stream lights a little bit more yellow. I'm looking at them all right now. The one on my face is a little more yellow. That one's a little more white. But yeah, I go like 5,000 Kelvin for the bulbs in my house, in my office and all that.
I don't do anything different. No. I have the just LED lights. I got a little LED like desk light that I use to do all my pre-grading. That's about it. I don't get too crazy.
PK wants to know what's the update on my Neogen Pikachu potential print error.
Whatever Walrus said right below that.
Oh, okay. So he answered.
Received something like that. Yeah. I almost forgot. I put that binder in a box and I completely forgot about it for the longest time. But now it's off its CDs.
Tracker checking. You hate to see it. Ghetto says, what's the most you've ever made on shipping through eBay? Example, someone wanted overnight and paid $180, but you only had to pay $100 because of eBay shipping discount. I do free shipping on everything. Years ago, I used to do calculated shipping. That never anything significant. What about you?
Yeah, no. Yeah. $1, $2, $5, something like that. Nothing major. I think I've always been in the camp that you should, even when people like if you charge for shipping and people check out before you send invoices and they pay $20 shipping for 4 cards, when in reality it's going to cost $6. Um, I've always been in the camp that you should refund them the shipping. Um, I don't know. I just feel like you should. Now, maybe I'll keep a few extra dollars than normal. Like just say like I say like $5 flat rate shipping. No matter how many cards you purchase, and someone buys 4 cards, they pay $20 shipping. It costs me $7 to ship it. Maybe I'll keep $8, $9, $10 and refund them $10 to cover all of the shipping supplies, all that stuff, whatever. But I do think you should refund them, especially if it's like a massive difference like that. I don't think you should be profiting $100 off of shipping or something like that.
Your average player says, you know, the hobby's dying when we need to make money on the shipping. I've just always gone free shipping. I think it helps the algorithm. It helps the visibility. I've always been in the camp of King Pokemon, Gary. Years ago on E4, he put it very eloquently, and I'll paraphrase improperly and butcher it kind of probably. The only price that matters is the all-in price to your door. If the buyer clicked buy, sales tax, shipping, I don't care about any of that. If they paid an all-in price that they were happy to pay, it should be good to go. So if they checked out on it, they should not be expecting, no one should ever have to refund, reimburse any, because it's all arbitrary. I'm not actually shipping anything for free. I'm just baking it into the price. And yeah, so my take is, whatever the buyer pays, they paid, they were happy, they checked out. It's so tedious, it's so time consuming to avoid all that mess and moral issues potentially. I just free shipping on everything. It's easier.
I was I agree. I do like the free shipping. I think overall it's the same whether you do free $14.99 and $5 shipping or $20 and free shipping, or yeah, 15 plus $5 shipping, $20 free shipping. It all ends up being the same. But I was looking on, I never knew this page existed on eBay. Or this like you can see how much you've paid in shipping throughout the year. And I was looking at that the other week, and I've paid, it's just over $40,000 in shipping, which is wild to me. That made me want to think about charging shipping for a bit. But then I realized it's gonna end up being the same.
Yeah.
It's not like it won't necessarily be me making an extra $40,000 in the year. But to see that number was absolutely insane.
Let's see if we've got James or Cam in here to flex their shipping charge numbers, which they it is weird because like consumers should be efficient and logical, and they should factor it all in, but a lot of times they don't. A lot of times it's like, oh, I'll pay $100 for a card. they disregard the $5 shipping. They disregard the 9% sales tax, whatever it is, a lot of times. But inconsistent, like me, it's always the all-in price. But a lot of people, it's just like you probably actually do earn slightly more charging shipping because some amount of people don't factor it in. But it's so like you never know. It's very individualized to the person, and it's since I go buy it now, especially if I went auctions, I would slightly lean more towards charging individual shipping because I think auctions get a better algorithm boost anyways. But being buy it now, like I want all that algo fuel I can get, so free shipping only.
Yep.
Boondock Game says, I need to replace the blower fan on my 1988 Bryant furnace. Any tips, Dan? So anytime anything breaks, the first thing I do, get inside there. I mean, turn off the power to the unit, all that good stuff. Please don't get yourself shocked or harmed in any way. Look for some model numbers. Check it on YouTube. I guarantee you there is someone replacing that exact furnace model, that exact blower model. It's probably significantly cheaper than calling someone up. If it's outside of your depth, if you've never used like a multimeter, if you've never done any of that stuff, like please don't go get yourself hurt. But and then I will say, as Mr. Walrus says, Dan's a flashlight holder. Don't be fooled. If it was out of my depth, I would definitely call in reinforcements. I would hit up my dad. I would send a picture to my dad like, hey, what do you think? I buy some pizza. You come over, help me change this some night. So I've definitely done that from time to time, and I'm thankful to have that advantage there. But shout out to all the original YouTube for me, going back into college days and high school days, and all the meme channels, all the different YouTube channels that were around there. The DIYers, though, have always been like my favorite bunch. Something breaks on my dishwasher, on my washer. My PlayStation 3 has a yellow light of death. My PlayStation 3 has a disk read error. You search it on YouTube, and you always find somebody. Actually, shout out Cardinal Gaming. I didn't watch the whole thing, but just for like nostalgia's sake, Zach, Mason's business partner with Cardinal Gaming, he did a video on how to replace the HDMI port on an Xbox One S, I think. Really, really cool. And it was like nostalgic trip for me. That kind of like handy tech type thing. He just like unsoldered the HDMI port from it, resoldered one on. Really reminiscent of like the PS3 repairs that I did back in the day. Really, really cool to tinker around with stuff like that. So shout out to the Zachs, the Cardinal Gamings, who put that stuff out there. Someday, I mean, honestly, it's probably harmful to their business to some extent. There's a chance that someone in their area who might have otherwise paid Zach to replace their HDMI port, there's a chance that someone out there ends up watching that video and repairs their own HDMI port because Zach put the video out there. So props to them. There's also the chance that some wannabe DIYer goes and tries, fails, and then has to buy a new unit from Cardinal Gaming anyways. So, I mean, I'm sure Zach and Mason probably thinking that angle a little bit, which props to them for that too, I guess. but yeah, like I love YouTube for that reason. Any car problem, any TV, any problem of any kind, search it on YouTube. Make sure you find someone who knows what they're doing, a decent like ratio, a decent amount of positive comments. Like I did this and it worked. Not like be a little careful out there, but yeah. Sold by Dan Chu says the eBay vault is about to slam all its users on January 1st. If the fees are reasonable, I'm good to send all my cards for storage, just waiting for that ball to drop. I think storage fees won't be a thing. I think it's only buyer's premium. I could be wrong. A lot of this information is publicly out there. Just search up eBay vault fees. It's a little bit ambiguous as to when in 2024. And I've asked them specifically and they've not answered me like clearly. I don't know if it's January 1st or I don't know if it's like sometime in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Chef wants to know, is there a secret to listing faster without fancy magic scanners? Sell similar off your own listing. So I recently, on behalf of a consigner, I'm listing like base set unlimited hollows. I list Alakazam, PSA 9 mint, Alakazam hollow rare, base set unlimited, Pokemon card, consignment code, however many dollars it is. Sell similar, and now I'm doing Blastoise number 2. All I need to change is Blastoise, and 1 out of 202, or 1 out of 102 goes to 2 out of 202. Well, 2 out of 102. And then I change the price, and then I'm done. So selling and upload the photos. So selling similar off a very similar listing, even if you have to change the set, change a few item specifics, change the set, it'll suggest a lot of those for you, and you can click a button and change them.
Yep.
You can list stuff in 30 seconds to a minute tops. Once you get, so like iterate, like anything else. How do you make more free throws? How do you get better at anything? Iterate, and practice and keep doing it over and over, and you'll get better and faster.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is to have like a template that you consistently use. That way you kind of get in the habit of, okay, I need to change this, and this, versus having to completely change everything around.
Yep.
You're only changing those few specific things, and everything is very consistent. So that way you can go sell similar, and it's easy to figure out, okay, I need this, and this changed. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing there.
UAP says,
and then the scanners.
Oh, sorry.
Definitely help.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I said the scanners definitely help.
There's definitely I do want to make some more YouTube videos soon, just like kind of back to the basics. I made some first year on my channel with a couple hundred views on a lot of them. I think just seeing others' processes, like there's probably things that other people do that if I saw it would be like a light bulb moment, like, oh man, I didn't know you could do it that way. I didn't think about it that way. If you could shave 10 seconds off every listing, 5 seconds off every listing, that adds up over time. And the way that we learn about these things is like, make a YouTube video of your process. You might have someone comment, and then every time you do it from then onward, maybe you're saving them the time, maybe they're saving you the time. So like, talk to each other, share your processes, and then see if we can all come to the best conclusion together, and then all be doing it the best way. And there's actually a group out there, Daily Refinement, and then they split with Tech and Sports, who does Reseller Greatness or something it's called now. But they get into a lot of the nitty gritty on the mechanics of like how to have your photo station, how to have your listing set up, how to do this, how to do that. They really get into the nitty gritty of how to optimize like those mechanical ends of eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Your average player wanted to know, would you guys still be full-time in the hobby if you had to work for someone else? It would all come down to the money component. Yeah, if someone wants to pay me, hey, I'm for sale, $5,000 a week salary, I'm your guy. Like, I need some freedom along with that, but it all depends on the terms, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would have to be. I guess it would depend. But like going from full time myself to working for someone else in Pokemon, I don't know if I would do that.
I'll give you $5K a week. Can you start tomorrow?
Yeah, if you're gonna pay me a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It would be tough. I think it would be tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to, but I could be talked into it with the right salary, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
TCG Caravan. This is actually a great question and multiple components to it that I'll get to. TCG Caravan, what are your thoughts on the Masaki Gengar that sold on PWCC for $28K? PWCC replied to a comment saying it was paid for. One, PWCC has a history of replying to comments saying that things were paid for that were not paid for. So one, I don't believe you. That's step one. But saying that it did get paid for, these are inefficient markets. I've said it many times. I'll always say it. People rarely seem to understand. There's currently a Masaki PSA 10 on eBay for $13,000, listed by one old school Pokemon. That person might not be on eBay. That person might be international. They might not see Nick's copy that I think is a consignment, which he can talk about more in a minute. But these are non-fungible items. I don't want to talk down on Nick's card, but like theoretically, there could be a really strong example. There could be a really weak example. That could be part of it. But yeah, illiquid items, non-fungible items, that's a big variance. I mean, that's 2x plus. but it's not unheard of. There are many other times in the hobby, not quite at like the 5-figure tier, but there are definitely other times in this hobby where one card sells for $100. I see auctions selling for 100. Did I buy it now and sell for 200? A little over 200. Rare, but it does happen. So there's a lot of components to it. Most likely, Occam's Razor. I think PWCC is just doing what they did last time. Potentially saying, and then next most likely, a very rich international buyer who just doesn't care. If I were Nick, I would be pumping this 13K one on Instagram, tagging PWCC, trying to get like somebody to buy it at a half price. But I don't know. And one thing I will say too, if it did happen, and maybe the guy only wants one, $28,000, is that a lot of money to you? That might be what they say. Like, who cares? Just because that happened, and if that is a real price point, it's not actionable by anyone else. The one person who paid that has already got theirs now. And since it was an auction, there theoretically should be a second buyer who would have paid $27K. One could have been shilled by the owner, shilling it up to 27. So maybe there's not a second buyer who would actually pay that. And then two, like, yeah, one's available for 13K. So by most regards, like, that's not a 28K card. But by other respects, like, it is, because someone got that, theoretically. It's an interesting thing, though.
I am confident that one did not get paid. There is not a chance in the world that one got paid, because we had James's auction end at 14,000, not get paid. We had my auction end at 10,700, not get paid. I listed one on eBay for 13,000, not a single offer yet. And then all of a sudden we have a $28,000 sale. I don't think so. I find that very, very hard to believe. I think, I don't know what the deal is with the Masaki Gengar, but it is absolutely ridiculous to have so many get shilled and unpaid. I don't get it. I don't know if it's the same person bidding, or the same couple people bidding up every copy, but at least the confirmed, the last two sales have not gotten paid. I am 99.999999% sure this third sale is not getting paid.
And you really do need to
I can't see it happening.
You need to be very careful with comp culture, because one card going for a price does not make it actionable for anyone else. And way too many times, people are so obsessed with what the last one sold for. It's relevant in that it means something, but it doesn't mean nearly as much as most people think. Like, some people get so obsessed, so stuck on comps. This could be, again, one of the less likely scenarios. It could be an actual transaction of someone who's just not engaged. It could also be somebody just toying with the market. I don't know what PWCC's payout is on 28K, but people can insert incorrect sales data for a small cost. I mean, eBay Vault right now, people can sell for zero fee, zero buyer's premium. I hope it's not being done, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't being done whatsoever. But people could theoretically sell fee-free, buyer's premium fee-free between different eBay Vault accounts. Please don't go do that. But absolutely, there are ways that people insert false prices into the market, and this could be one of those. So always be careful. Don't just blindly follow comps. Just because someone else may or may not have bought something for some price doesn't mean you should. Take it as, like, slightly informing towards your potential purchase, but don't take it as gospel, because too many people do.
Mhm.
We're really ripping through the comments now. Let's see. We're at the point we were talking about alcohol and cigarettes. Cheval said 6 packs of 20 to 25 cigarettes a day. I knew a guy, I think he's still around. I think he's still kicking. He he used to work at a place my dad and I would work. My dad and I would work there as like external outside contractors. He was like a W-2 guy there. We were like 1099 guys there, essentially. 4 to 6 packs a day of Marlboros he'd smoke. I always have a hard time saying Marlboros. And he'd drink a 12-pack of Coke.
Hard to say.
12-pack of Coke a day. He'd drink a 12-pack of Coke a day and smoke like 4 to 6 packs of Marlboros a day. Insane. I don't know how he was still going.
How big was this guy?
He was. I don't think he ate. I think he drank Coke and smoked cigarettes. I hardly ever saw him eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Here's a good question by Garen. How do you navigate the conversation with an owner of a collection that has it overpriced without offending them and still leaving an opportunity for profit on the back end? The way that I always take it, and Nick was present one time in Denver, I forget where that was. A guy had a binder, and it's just like you can show them some sales data. Say, hey, the card goes for this. Here's an actual eBay sale. I would pay X% of that. I need to make some money. I need to pay fees. Like, if you want to take it, I'm here. If not, no worries. Like, some people will. Some people are strange. Some people get offended by hearing like actual, but you can't do anything about that. Tell them, be as transparent as possible, and then they can take it or they can not take it. That's my thing.
Yeah, I would agree. You're never gonna please everyone. So just be nice to them. Explain it to them. Sometimes it'll work out. Sometimes they just don't really want to sell.
Yep. We got a rapid fire. We got like 4 minutes left. We got 20 minutes of chat to go through. Maybe there's not many questions though.
Not a chance.
So
Not a chance it's happening.
Mr. Walrus pre-grades with his fridge light. Is that the key to his success or the reason he sucks? I would say that's the key to your success. Oh, he also says he's the Masaki buyer. So now we're only 5 minutes behind. So there was 15 minutes with no questions. Literally just got to the end. So we proved Nick wrong. There was 1 or 2 meme questions I skipped. So maybe we go take.
Oh, so you're skipping questions now.
Mr. Walrus,
we failed.
So I'm gonna feed you this meme question now to end. That came from Mr. Walrus. Where'd it go? So here, for Nick to close it out, we're not going to take any new questions. Question, who are the 7 dwarves from Snow White in PokeTubers? So you got to hit us with what PokeTuber is Dopey, Sneezy, Bashful, Grumpy, Sleepy, Happy, and Doc.
I have no idea.
Is Sneezy actually
I don't know
one?
enough about the 7 dwarves.
Sneezy's PK. Every time he sneezes, he shouts
Sneezy's
out
definitely
Professor
PK.
Oak. Is that actually one of the dwarves, though?
Who?
Is Sneezy actually one of the dwarves? He is.
Sneezy's a dwarf, yeah. Yep. Who would you say is Professor Oak?
Oh, he always shouts out Professor Oak when he sneezes. That's all I was saying. Who's
I gotcha.
Anyone else? I don't really know. That was I took the lowest hanging fruit. Now you gotta go. You do the other 6.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Grumpy, we can go with CTR. I feel like he's very grumpy. I don't know.
Sleepy's probably me. I've actually had people tell me at Collecticons and stuff like, oh, I watched some of your podcasts before bed. I watched some of your long form lives before bed, and I've definitely fallen asleep to your voice before. So maybe I'm sleepy because I put people to sleep. I'll take that one.
Oh God.
Grimer Collect says OSP is dopey. I would say you're happy. I would say Nick is happy. Nick's always got I don't know.
Okay, well, we got a few of them.
We did get a few in there. Dan, are you not Doc? ? I don't know. I'm just going with Sleepy because people said they've fallen asleep to my voice before.
I think Sleepy's a good one for you.
But
I almost fall asleep during me listening to you.
Yeah. My wife's actually said that before. She'll occasionally tune in and she's like, Man, sometimes you got Nick about falling asleep there when you're getting to some of your longer rants. Like, are you sure he's doing okay there? Sometimes he looks like he's about to fall asleep. I'm like, probably was just up late for a live that night, but probably I'm just that boring too. A little bit of both.
The combination. It's a combination. Oh man.
With that, we're at the end. We don't have any guests 100% confirmed, but I know we have a few guests. We'll need to talk sometime in the next couple days so that we can get our next person fully slotted in. But yeah, we'll be back. 2 weeks won't land us on like a crazy holiday or anything. So pending our guest availability, we'll shoot for Friday the 15th at 1:15 p.m. Pending guest availability. If they're a 9 to 5er, we might have to do something different, but we'll let people know. We'll let people know on Instagram and schedule on the YouTube and all that. Anything else to add in closing?
No, thanks for hanging out, everyone. Do appreciate it. Hope you have a good couple weeks here, and we will see you again.
Yep. Thanks, chat. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you before then, but hope everyone has a happy holiday season. We will catch you all later.